And it says we are live. Welcome to the greatest show in, as some people like to pronounce it. Welcome to the greatest show in the Philippine vlogging community, I should say. From the province, but I'm here with Aldo the Great, the Great. So, welcome one and all to the great show, the great show in the Philippines. I just like to reiterate that. And the most anticipated show of the week. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's buzzing about it all week long. Here we are.
Perfect. Hello, hello. How are you guys?
I'm kicking. How about you, Aloe? And, I just want to say hello to all the piece of shits in the goddamn chat. I hope y'all get up early this morning, watch the royal wedding, played with yourself, and drooled over Meghan Markle, because I know a lot of you out there in the chat are little fucking drama queens, and I have seen that in Discord. Talk about your soap opera, how this Filipina left this expat and this expat fucked over this Filipina, and some guy was walking in the street in tatters at 4 a.m. in the fucking morning because he got his ass whooped by a 4 foot nothing little ball of fucking hate. But shit happens, people. Shit happens, all right? And we're here to fucking talk about it today.
To the person out there who just gave us a thumbs up, please change that into a thumbs down. Thank you very much.
Retract it now. We will find you. We will hunt you down. We will fucking beat you like a fucking dog. Retract that thumbs up now. Do it now.
John Doe, how are you?
I'm fine, and I'm happy to be here.
Good that you are here. I heard that you have a show that you started doing live streams, and I think I would like to give you a shout out. If you guys don't know about it yet, John Doe has a live stream. He's doing shows, and actually, I listened to the one where you had Popeye on the panel, and I must say it was very entertaining, and it was a really great show. So you guys, please go there and subscribe. And while I'm at it, also check out Bobsy's channel, Bobsie, Bobsy. He has put out a couple of vlogs about our favorite vloggers in this scene, and I believe, or I think these are very funny and good vlogs. So show Bobsy some love and go over there and check out what he got for you. He has put out a couple of vlogs about, the people whom we will talk about now on this show here. We got already 40 people watching right now. That's actually more than most of all these other live streams have. And that's really good. That's really good.
Yeah,
Welcome
we're
to
not
the
even
show.
saying hi, boys, either.
And we also don't get money for it.
It's also only been 4 minutes since the show started.
See? And actually, Dave, you're absolutely right, because it's the most anticipated show of the week. People wait for it. They say, "Hey, what will they talk about on Riff Raff Radio?" And some say, "Okay, it's the e-beggar topic." And then some others will say, they might talk about that guy who left Quezon City in the middle of the night, left his girlfriend with debts, or they will talk about a couple who moved into a new place because they are really doing great with the e-begging thing.
A lot moving on up.
A lot of
moving on up.
Yeah.
Now,
hello. Since we have expat prepper, I wanna say hello to him too. Since we got expat prepper in the live chat, I would like expat prepper. Could you write down what you talked about a couple of days or weeks earlier and give us an explanation or a short overview about what I'm about to ask Popeye here on the panel. What's the difference between SSI and SSDI? And back to you, Popeye, if you want to start with this topic today.
Sure.
The
That's a
difference
good.
about SSI and SSDI. Give us a little bit an overview and tell us why we are talking about this.
Okay, sounds good. Now look here. Let me explain the difference between SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Insurance, and SSI, Social Security Insurance. When you come to SSDI, that is for men and women of the United States who have actually held a job full time. Okay, and they got hurt on that job, and they've been working for quite a while. And, you know, they have close to like 40 quarters of work completed in order to get Social Security. And they get hurt on the job, they get SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Insurance. It's a great backup for those who have contributed. Now, these people, they can go anywhere they want, okay? And the only restriction they are going to have is that, you know, pending on what their case is for disability, they have to see a doctor so often to see if the disability has improved or has gotten worse. Now, on the other hand, we have SSI. Those are people who do not have enough time working or who have never worked in their life. And these people, you know, they have really big problems, okay? And we have some expats in the community that are on SSI. And the main rule for SSI, if you are out of the United States for 30 days or more, your compensation will stop. It gone, it's over. Now, a lot of people trying to get into SSI so they don't have to work. They don't have to work and have never wanted to work. All right. But you cannot go overseas. The only way you can go overseas is if you're a minor or an adult on SSI in military, okay, in a military family, or you are studying abroad, okay. And in the SSI program, there are a lot of fraudsters who claim mental instability, you know, they kind of hit you with a brick, you know, I'm mentally unstable. You know, they have a bad back, but they can twerk in a bar, you know. It's fucking amazing. They can help build a house in Cebu, you know. I've seen blogs like this. And so what I did is I gathered some of those videos, okay, and I downloaded them and I put them all in a file, and I received this link to report fraud, waste, and abuse to the SSI program. And so I hope they enjoy those videos. I hope they enjoy the summation I wrote up explaining those videos and where those videos were taken and who took those videos. So that is the big difference between SSDI and SSI. And I personally have no complaint with somebody being on SSDI. I mean, especially if they have an injury and they can't work or they can only work limitedly. Okay. And as these fraudsters get pulled out of Philippines and have to go back to the United States, they're going to find a lot of changes. I mean, they're cutting food stamps. They're really cracking down on Social Security disability. They're cracking down on SSI because too much money is going out. And sorry about that. It's a new day in America, people. So heed my words. And if you think you're only going to have 4 years of it, think again. You're going to have a total of 8 years of it. I can guarantee it. Because there's a lot of pissed off hombres like me out there. And final thing I want to put out to you all, just remember the fraudsters, the scammers, the e-beggars, their mantra is you're just jealous. It's none of your business. Who made you the sheriff? Well, I have some news for you. It's my tax dollars. I've worked all my life and I still pay taxes. And you fuckers need to comply with the rules.
Right. Plus, they're living the life, and they retired at 40, and you didn't.
Right.
I got a question for you. First of all, finer point of all this. When you said minors could go overseas, did you mean people that wear hard hats and have picks and dig in the ground?
You're talking about Alf.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I clarify that, because some fuck on a fucking hat and walk around. I guarantee it. I also wanted to point out at this point in the show, at this venture of the show, we are only less than 10 minutes into the show, and we're nearing 60 people watching already. It's incredible. It's a beautiful thing. That doesn't happen anywhere else but this show in the Philippines, the only place. So the rest of you guys can have a big old suck at Trebek.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Amen, brother. And I want to tell the two people that gave thumbs up, pick the corn out of my shit and eat it. Okay, you better retract that, because I will fucking hunt you down, and I'll rip your head off, and I will shit down your throat, and I'll put your head back on so you can fucking taste it. All right, that's my mood today.
Cease and desist, giving us a thumbs up. Cease and desist.
Because my I can't do it, man. It's too easy, man. It's too easy. I can't do it. Oh,
John Doe.
Were you told that by your attorney, Alo? To say those words?
There's a reason why we are focusing today on disability fraudsters. And before I ask John Doe what is his take about this whole thing, disability fraudster, when it comes to disability fraudsters and the things that were just mentioned by Popeye here, I would just want to put this out there. Some people said, hey, what is it to you guys? Why do you talk about other people's business? What do you care about if people get money on YouTube? And I want to ask them, what is it to you guys who criticize us talking about these topics? Because at the end of the day, it's only our decision what we talk about on this panel here. If we want to talk about it, and if we talk about it, it's only up to us, I don't care what they say or do on their channels, but they should also not care about what we talk about. At the end of the day, it's none of their business what we talk about, because this is social media, this is YouTube, this is what this is all about. If I want to talk about somebody's hair color, I can do so. If I want to talk about somebody's size of the nose, I can do so. If I want to talk about e-banking scammers, disability fraudsters, I can do so, because there's nothing you can do about it. So get the fuck over it. That's the message I got for certain vloggers and live streamers out there who always whine and bitch about us talking about certain things that are going on in the YouTube community right now. That's absolutely none of their business. John, your take on what Popeye just said in regards of disability fraudsters and people who are very cocky, very arrogant, very aggressive when you call them out for their obvious lies.
Yeah, I agree with Popeye. I mean, these scammers should be called out. They should be reported, and I mean, they're a blight on the expat community, and they should be returned to the U.S. and made to account for what they're doing, and the fraud they committed.
I want to read the comment that I think I absolutely agree with that. The comment is from White American Expat. If they put themselves out there, it's everyone's business. And I just want to add, if you go on YouTube, if you put yourself out there, then you should not whine and bitch about privacy. If you want privacy, just set your vlogs in private and then send it to your mom and maybe uncle, and they can watch it and they can give you two thumbs up if you want. But if you put it out on YouTube, you just really need to swallow it, because it comes with the territory. Us doing these shows, we get all kinds of emails and attacks, and people talk shit about us. Sometimes they make shit up about us and they attack us, and we knew that from the get-go. We knew that if we would call them out for their BS, we would be attacked, and you just have to handle it. And if you can't, then you shouldn't do this. There was a point, to be honest, there was a point where I felt like, hey, this whole YouTube thing here is not really for me, because I started to feel very stressed out, and then I realized I was probably stressed out more about things that I was dealing with rather than YouTube, and that's why I understand people who say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. There's no shame in it when you say, okay, I quit and I want to do something else. But as long as you're in the game, you have to accept that people will talk about you. They will discuss about what you're putting out there, and people will judge, because that's how people are. It's the same in real life. The only difference is you can go back and read the live chat, or you can go back and you can listen to the live streams, what people were talking about earlier, and that's what this is all about. So if you can't handle it, then stop it. But there is no way that we on this panel here on the Riff Raff Radio, that we will stop talking about what we think is appropriate or what needs to be talked about, because as you guys earlier mentioned, I think it is a big topic in the Philippine expat community that there are people who are mooching off certain people in the Philippines, that they take advantage of the people in the Philippines, because Filipino people in general are very generous. They try to help out when they can, and let's say you are a foreigner, you are in trouble, people usually would like to help you out. They want to try to understand in what kind of situation you are, and obviously we have characters in this community that have taken advantage of that. And in my view, I think it's a good topic to discuss this out of two reasons. One reason is these people give other expats a bad name. And the other reason is I believe that the people in the Philippines, they have a right to know that not every expat is a good person. I think that this is similar to what happened to Peter, where Filipino and foreigners, Filipinos and foreigners started to spread the word that here is a guy who is trying to take advantage of you. He will not pay for his internet fees. He will not pay when he will sleep in your hotel or motel or whatever. This is a guy who steals and cheats and lies. And some Filipinos were able to Googled his name, and then they found out, hey, this guy is about to steal from us. He's a scammer. And I believe that we should continue to do that with all these kind of peoples. I think we should really continue to talk about these topics.
But
Of course. Of course, they don't want us to talk about that, and so that's why we are getting threatened. Rumor has it that this guy that we are talking about right now, and we all know whom we are talking about here, he has left his girlfriends with debts. He didn't pay the bills. He left the city and flew to another island, and now is staying with another person. And I guess he will just do what he did for the last 1 or 2 years. He will try to find another girlfriend. He will try to profit from her until she figures out what kind of person he is, and then he'll go back and ask for load and ask for money and ask for support all around in this community, whether it's online or the people he surrounds himself with. And I think that has to stop, and that's why we are here. And I want to tell you, this is a guy who most probably did not pay for his visa fees, the visa extensions. As of now, I hear people talking about it. I do not know if it's true or not, but I would not be surprised. You wanted to say something, Popeye? Please go ahead.
Yeah, you're missing one really big component of all of this, and I just caught it in the chat a little while back, and that is the enablers. Okay, there are people enabling this guy. They're harboring him in their hovels, okay, in their warehouses, and and then they're turning around and they're like introducing him to women to prey upon. I mean, so tell me, is that person who's enabling the fraudster any better than the fraudster itself? Can you answer that for me?
Well, you have a guy in mind who's actually also a total fucking loser, because I talked to him a couple of weeks earlier and he said, you know what, if you guys are going after him, you should come after us or after me too, because I have a PayPal account, I have a Patreon account. I explained to him, like what I did before on the last show, it's not about PayPal account, it's not about Patreon account. We have absolutely no problem if subscribers support their vloggers. We actually support that. That's a good thing. It's beautiful, amazing, perfect. Do that. If you want to support your bloggers, absolutely no problem. We are talking about people who mislead their subs when they say, hey, I will build a house for poor people, give me $1,000. He keeps the $900, gets a drone, a cell phone, and a TV, and the rest he will use for building a house, because he wants his subs to believe that he actually used the money for what it was intended. It's very simple. Let us not get distracted with all these things. It's not about that. I know that all our enemies out there try to portray us as the bad guys who are going after people who accept donations. That's not what it is all about. We support that. It's good. Some of the people here actually have done that. It's positive. There's nothing wrong when you send your hero on Facebook or on YouTube a cam or a shirt or whatever. But what we try to point out is, when you make it a way of living because you don't want to work, you're a disability fraudster, you're a moocher, you're a beggar. That's what this is all about. When you mislead your subs and when you lie to them because you want to profit, because nowadays it seems to be the in thing. I don't need to work. I can ask my subs, do you have load? Do you have a cell phone? Do you have an Xbox? Do you have a car? Do you have a wife? Do you have a new set of teeth? And this is what I really want to talk about right now. The problem is that we have an increasing number of people who use social media as a shortcut in life. And that is what people don't like. And in every community, there is checks and balances. People start to talk about it. Some are afraid. They don't want to get threatened. They don't want to be called out. But that's something that we do here on Riff Raff Radio. And I think people want that. People want to listen to something like this because there is really a need for something like this. And that's the reason why we have always people getting in touch with us. And I want to encourage you guys out there, if you have information, if you have something like a suggestion, if you want us to talk about a certain blogger, about a certain problem in the Philippine blogosphere, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are over on Discord. We are over on FB, All of the Winter in my case, but you know all the other guys on this channel, Dave with Kentong Baliw and Dave Ponderings, Popeye with Popeye1, and John Doe with his new channel. John Doe, what is the name of your channel again? It's Philippines Life with John Doe. Is that correct?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, Philippines with John Doe. That's correct, Alan.
Philippines with John Doe. Please
Yeah,
check out that
I wanted
channel.
to add one thing. Another good purpose of your show here is that you know, with a lot of these vloggers, well, number one, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So if you want to, if these guys want to vlog and they want to show possibly inappropriate behavior or possibly illegal activity, you know, they're subject to be criticized and reported. So, in one hand, they want to vlog and try to use that as a vehicle to obtain money.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other hand, if they're doing something inappropriate, they don't want you to complain or report them. Just like
Basically,
you had.
they are.
Yeah, I just wanted as one last thing, just like, and then you have a lot of them where they have channels and then they try to censor their channels and block any kind of criticism or dissenting opinion. You know, like Jerry the Ferry, as an example. And
please go into details when it comes to the Ferry. I want to listen to that.
The Ferry.
Yeah,
tell me about the Ferry.
Yeah, the Ferry. He's definitely one of the most thin-skinned, clueless douchebag buffoons on YouTube, I would have to say. Most
tell us how you read
it. Jerry the Ferry is one of the most what did you say? I didn't hear it. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, I was going to say clueless buffoons on YouTube.
What did he say, Popeye? He was a very what did he say, Popeye? Can you repeat what he just said?
He said clueless buffoon. On
I just wanted to make sure that I can listen to it like 3 or 4 times. But John Doe, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that goes on YouTube, posts videos with a very thin sliver of facts or information or experiences about the Philippines, and you know, it's like a sponge that you just add it to a glass of water and it just expands. I mean, the rest of his knowledge is just made up or Googled off the internet or maybe read from Brain Dead Ned's ebook.
So, John, I got a question for you, brother. How do you feel about washwomen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have no prejudice against washwomen. I mean, you can, you know, for the guys that may want to relocate to the Philippines, you can definitely find one and for about approximately $100 per month. You know, and she'll wash the shit stains out of your underwear.
Okay.
And tidy up your place for you. You know.
Any more detail on that?
Well, there's a lot of old washwomen in the Philippines.
Okay. All right.
Just don't marry her. That's all. Give her $100 a month and send her on her way.
But why do you say he is not an expert? Why do you say that his vlogs are not of good quality? Because he has been in the Philippines. He's a great guy, I guess. I'm not so familiar with the guy. I've never heard of him, but I have watched a couple of his vlogs, and I saw he was driving tricycles. The guy made it. I mean, the guy is successful. I think he's a successful guy.
I think the success in the Philippines is reflective of his success in the United States. I think that's why he's successful.
Well, I didn't see him riding a trike in the United States. Maybe the subway, but not a trike.
The U.S. equivalent.
Oh, okay. Very well.
Yeah. He's very experienced, and I mean, he should just stick to things he has knowledge of.
How many years has he been living in the Philippines? How many years has he been there?
Probably
The guy you just
probably
mentioned.
who, the Ferry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's who we're
probably.
talking about, John.
Yeah,
How many years did he live in the Philippines?
well, he's never lived there. I mean, but he's probably
Oh,
traveled there 2 or 3 years. You know, when,
how come he calls his channel what is the channel name? Philippine something? And when I was watching it, I saw that he did a couple of live streams. He was talking about fish and meals and how things are in the Philippines, about Filipino culture. And I felt, hey, this is a guy who lived in the Philippines at least for several years. Is that the case?
no, he was just he's an occasional visitor there. I mean, usually his vacations there are only a couple of weeks in duration,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot involve. He's more like a medical tourist since he has no health insurance in the U.S. Any kind of medical treatment or dental treatment, he has to go to the Philippines.
But isn't it he told us he's some sort of a trader and he works for in real estate and gives financial advice? The guy must be very rich. What do you think?
Yeah, he talks a lot of shit, but in reality, when you see how he lives and how he travels around the Philippines, you
Mm-hmm.
would think that this guy is just a total broke ass.
Hey,
Well,
I heard he.
every
I
time
le-
I watched his vlogs, I always felt a little bit jealous, I must say.
I heard he was
nobody
going to
hears
get a work visa and become a used car salesman in Cebu.
hey, hold on a second. One second, please. We're almost at 80 people viewing. That's not what I wanted to say. Would somebody go over when Travis Kraft starts his show and tell people to come over to our show?
Yeah, let's do that.
What do you
We
guys
could
have
do
to
that,
actually?
yeah.
Actually, everybody on here, go over to Travis Kraft's live show when it starts. I just pop up in my list. Follow him just so I can see if like Annabelle's going to nibble on him or something like that. Go over there and tell them, hey, check out this link. They're live right now, and they're really doing a real show about the Philippines, not this Superman shit or something. I don't know anything, and and bring us more viewers over here.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's do that.
by the way, by the end of the night, I want us to get to 1,000 subs. Hear me out, because then we'll open super chat, and we'll all get really rich because Dave needs a pair of rims for his baby stroller, man.
I mean, that's the goal.
Is that guy Travis Kraft the one with Mrs. Horseface and
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm just feeling it today.
Just
you know what I mean?
throw a little bit kryptonite into the live chat. That will do.
Yeah.
He'll come over here. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, actually, Dave, that's very good that you raised that point that you mentioned this because we are really trying hard to get to the 1,000 subs that we need. We are trying so hard, and we wanna as soon as we get 1,000 subs, we will do what we always said we would do. We would monetize this channel and then we'll ask for donations because that's what we did over on Kwentong Baliw. That's what we did on the Ala de Winter show. Why? Because during that time, as you remember, everybody could just monetize his or her channel. And as far as I remember, that's exactly what we did. We always said we want to monetize, and we monetized all these channels. And that's why we want to do it here again, because we are after the money. I'm so tired to cheat on all the girlfriends that I have and then leave the house in the middle of the night because I was not able to text my friends to pick me up somewhere. So I would ask local people to give me money for my load, and I'm so tired of paying all these water bills and electric bills, and everybody will call me out for it. I would just fucking threaten them to use a brick, and then I will go to another guy. I will sleep in his apartment. Another guy who actually is like 40 plus thinks that he is some sort of a big shot down there with these third class hookers that he has, and thinks he's some sort of a rock star, like I don't know, just and then
I don't know. Those
when
two
he
chicks
loses.
look like pros, Aloe.
No, I mean
Those two chicks look
it's
like
very
pros.
cheap, and he has bad taste, and then one thing is you ask people to give you money because you can't afford to travel back to Cebu, and then the other thing is you hook up with a guy who actually a couple of months earlier despised you, and now they're back and partying and pretending that they are making tons of money. But the next thing you know, in a year from now, the one guy probably will be still mooching in the Philippines, and the other guy will just fly back to Australia and live with mama and papa again. That's what he actually does.
Really?
No
Is
direction
that
in
what's
life.
going on?
No direction in life. No plan. No nothing. And he thinks that we are jealous of him. And yes, we are very jealous of him.
Wow. I'll tell you what, for the guy who becomes the 1,000th subscriber on this channel, I will promise you 45 minutes alone with Aloe in a live stream video, and I will pimp him to you. Okay? That is promised to the 1,000th subscriber. Okay? It will happen. Mark my fucking words. And he will do it whether he likes it or not. Okay?
Talking about
And
thousands
that should kick off our super chat, all right?
And I'd like to also add that if you were the 2,000 subscriber, you get the official Riff Raff Radio tote bag, just like they used to do in the U.S. on public TV. So you know that you want to be seen with that motherfucker hanging around your head in the Philippines, because every man here wears the man purse. You might as well have a good one with
Right.
the picture with Aloe's icon on it and fairies flying around.
Yeah. Fucking
People
Riff Raff
will
Radio
flock to you.
swag, man.
Bitches love swag here. Okay.
Actually, I was thinking about starting a fucking merchandise line here, for Riff Raff Radio. I mean, it would be good. It would be really good. I mean, I was thinking we could have like the overall theme would be Riff Raff Radio, of course, and then the different members of the panel, and you would have like Popeye's avatar in front of the T-shirt, and it would say something like "Get the fuck out of my live chat," something like that, because that's what he said. And then in your case, Dave, I'm thinking about something like "I am sick and tired of dot dot dot." And it probably in my case, I would just say I'm not here to make friends, or something else. I haven't figured it out yet. But I think there will be a market out there. If we ever get to 1,000 subs, we might do something like that. But let me tell you this on a more serious note. I believe that we probably will never get to that point, and I tell you why. Because certain people in this community are trying to take down our channel, and they are trying every time we go live. They are screening these live streams, these shows, and they are trying to find dirt on us. They are trying to find a reason to take us down. There are a couple of people out there, and I know that every show gets different reports because they try to silence us. And I just want to tell these guys, you can continue to do that. It doesn't really mean anything, because it takes us 5 to 10 minutes to put back a channel, and we have so many affiliated allied channels, as I would call them, with Popeye, with Kwentong Baliw, and it takes us a few days to spread the word that we are back, and there will be a new Riff Raff Radio show. And that's what it is, because I remember when you and I, Dave, did the Kwentong Baliw shows together. The channel was attacked again and again, and sometimes they succeeded in putting strikes on the channel, but it never really resulted in a total ban. Because look at Kwentong Baliw now; it's still alive, it's still around. It's one of the shows that has been around for nearly 2 years now, and it's still out there, and it has a very it has a certain group of people who fully support it. And again, it's a Riff Raff affiliated channel, and there is really no point in doing all these reports. There are other channels who had also strikes, and they were gone. They were not able to recover, and it speaks for the crew here and these allied channels that they always keep coming back.
Another component that they're doing, Aloe, is they are sanitizing their chats, especially these guys that are out there hitting the flag button every day. if you, any one of you guys in the chat right now, if you go to those channels and you know the channels I'm talking about, and if you use the word like e-beggar, SSDI or SSI or scammer, definitely you will be blocked. Okay, you will not, you know, ask a hard question when you got one of these sons of bitches on the panel, and definitely you'd be booted out of there. They're sanitizing all their shit. These guys are worse than the fucking deep state, man. They have really learned from the liberals here in the United States. I'm telling you, they are just fucking on the mark, man. And you're not going to find that here at Rip Raff Radio. You will not find that shit here.
But Popeye, what's even worse than that? All these fairy types, these Jerry the Fairy types, are populating people's live streams as moderators. And then if they got a grudge against anybody, they're censoring other people's channels besides their own channel.
There's a pattern there. What you guys just said, there's a pattern there. In this case, he goes out to these different channels and tries to block people. He also tries to influence certain bloggers and gives them informations about the people on this panel here, because he actually would like to build them up as competition. He talks always about us, refers to us as the other guys. He thinks he is very clever, but at the end of the day, he is just a pathetic loser.
Well,
and,
have you heard his
he can't
latest?
do it by himself. He can't do it by himself. At least he should have the guts and the balls to do a live stream by himself. But what he does is he blocks everything. He says, if you mention another channel in the live chat, you are blocked, you are gone. So it's a direct reflection of who he really is. Criticism, no. I'm the boss, I'm the greatest. And that's the reason why he ended up with the woman that he ended up with. That's one thing. Then another thing that's the last thing I would want to put out here is John Doe, and you, Popeye, you also mentioned it. The thing is, what John earlier mentioned was they use social media and the internet to do their scams. But if you call them out for it, if you criticize them, they block you, they try to threaten you. And the thing is, they really expect that if they do these scams, that you just look away, telling you, hey, this is none of your business. I'm misrepresenting myself. I lie. I steal. I scam. I'm a beggar. But do not tell anyone else about it. Just let me do whatever I want to do. And that's not going to work, because this same individual actually, and now I have the right to talk about it because I don't give a shit anymore about him, has asked me several times if I would give him load. He asked me if I would rent him out one of my places in the Philippines. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. And I said, no, I can't do that, because I knew from the very beginning that I would probably not get the money that he would owe me. He would say, hey, bro, I'm a little bit tight with the money. I'll just pay you next time. And then all of a sudden he would just be gone. Because if you demand, hey, now you need to pay, his strategy would be, hey, I don't like you anymore. You're not a real friend. And he would just leave. He uses friendship to mooch off other people. And again, I believe he didn't pay his visa fees. And if he thinks that this is a reason to attack me, bring it on, you piece of shit, because I'm absolutely not afraid of you. I'm absolutely not afraid of you, because he knows what I am talking about right now. If you want to have a war, you came to the right crew, asshole.
Yes, he did. And, I was listening to a live stream that was sent to me, and this fucking POS, man, he has wings on his back and wears a tutu. He comes out and he goes, yeah, I love the wrench, man. I love the wrench. I feel so powerful when I have the wrench in my hand. and I'm like, holy fuck. And when I thought about it, I thought about it this morning, and I said to myself, motherfucker, why didn't I record that so everybody could have a good laugh? But I will. I'll record it. I might even put it in a Popeye short, man, and call it the wrench. Okay, but Jesus H. Christ, if you really think you're powerful, let me tell you what fucking power is, okay? Power is when you sit over a Mark 92 panel in Combat Information Center and you get the go ahead to push the button, and a missile comes out of a box at Mach 1, and it's going to just, you know, whatever you aimed it at is going to have a bad fucking day. That's power, okay? And I mean, the way he talked about it, it was like the dopamine rushed to his head, the euphoria. It's like, you know, it's like that old movie, man. Look at me, Ma. I'm on top of the world. And the building's burning and shit, you know. That's how he felt about it. I mean, holy crap on a cracker. I have never seen anything like that in all my fucking life.
It's called fairy power.
Oh, okay. Oh.
You know, it's even worse than that. If I'm on someone's channel, occasionally people give me a wrench, and he comes on, he begs, you know, the person who's running that live stream to take my wrench away. He just begs and begs.
He
Are
begged
you
us. He
shitting
begged
me?
us over on Discord. You know, when you, John, when you popped up over on Discord, he begged us to block you because he called it his safe haven, and he is not at the point where he didn't work hard all his life to get where he is at now to waste his time with people like John Doe. These were his words. These were his words. And I just asked myself, um, what kind of guy is he? Is he a successful guy? Is he some sort of CEO? I mean, always this I'm a big shot talk. You know, I worked hard all my life, and then you see the guy going over to the Philippines, and he stays in what in a rundown place, goes around in a tricycle and eats his. Dunkin' Donut or Krispy Kreme or whatever at the corner in a place in Dumaguete City, and does the people watching. You know, I mean that
And he
all
has
of
the
it
washwoman cook for him in his hotel room. He's too
on
cheap to
occasion,
buy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then nothing is wrong with that, according to him. No, I'm not saying that that is bad. I'm not mocking it. I am not making fun of it. But the thing is, when you pretend to be some sort of a big shot CEO expert giving financial advice, you look down on everybody else. You make comments about everybody else, and I have these comments. I have the screenshots, by the way. So if you are always putting other people down, at least you should have something to be proud of. At least you should have something built, a business or a certain amount of money. You should have a certain status in life to be like that, to act like that, to talk like that. And I do not really see it. And it's not only with him, I see it with other guys too. The second thing is, he always says, why are these guys not showing themselves? Why don't they show their faces? Why don't they tell us who they really are? I hear that again and again. The thing is this, at least this is true for Popeye, and this is true for you, John Doe, and for myself. We do not do vlogs. The only time that I have put out vlogs is because some of my subs said, "Hey, where are you? What are you doing?" And then I said, "Hey, look, I'm in this place. I'm in that place. I give you a shout out." It's more like a fun thing. I don't edit my shit. I don't really call myself a vlogger. I don't want to be a vlogger. I'm a guy who started out as somebody who watched these vlogs, made comments, and all of a sudden, here I am talking with you guys on a panel because Dave and I, 2017, in January 2017, thought, hey, look, Says Style is doing all these live streams now with other vloggers. And I believe there is a market out there for people like me, for people who don't have a channel, but who also have something to contribute to the community, whether it's our life story, our background, or like you guys, your views. And that's how the quantum ballet thing started, and I believe it worked well in all these past months, and that's what we really are. And you know, if we are so irrelevant, if we are so unimportant, why is it that they talk about us, the guys who don't show themselves? Because if you talk about somebody being irrelevant, you kill the very reason why you mention it, and that's you make somebody relevant by declaring him he is not relevant. Us, when we don't talk about somebody, it's really because we don't pay attention at all. But when we say, okay, this guy or that guy, I don't watch him, it's a lie. When you say, I don't care about this or these other guys, they are just bitter, they are so jealous. The thing is, there's really no reason to be jealous, and I just want to drill that into your heads because I keep hearing this again and again. The thing is, we set the agenda. We set the agenda. It's part of my strategy to catch their attention and to make sure that people flock to this channel. And how I did that, and I only speak for myself right now, not for nobody else on this panel, I am about drama. I have been always very transparent about that. I am about hate. And if you want to call me a guy who used racial slurs, yes, I did. But I have never been here to portray myself as the good guy. I have never been here to convince you of something. I just have an opinion like everybody else. I never really cared what people think about me or if they judge me as a loser, as a piece of shit, as a and whatever they want to say about me. That's just me. And the thing is, how did I do that? I went on Big Kev's show. I looked at what was going on in the community. I knew that at the end of 2017 everything started to be very, very boring. I know that some of you guys must have forgot that because it's already like 5, 6, 7 months ago. But at the end of 2017, there was nothing going on in the live stream market in this vlogosphere. It was just a dead zone. Nothing happened. And what we did is we came together, we discussed, we said, hey, there's a market out there for this type of show. Let's do it. But when we do a first show, we need somebody who is stupid, who is aggressive, who is weak, and somebody who will react. And who was that? It was the Chocolate Man. You go on there. I worked through it. I have always asked him, do you want a race war? Or are you talking about the race war? I provoked him. What he did is he reacted. He did 5, 6, 7 other shows. He will always keep talking about us because that's exactly what we want. If you don't see that it's us setting the agenda, if it's that you don't realize it's us defining what topics we talk about when you look at all these other guys, then you must be really stupid because that's exactly what I want to happen. That's exactly what I want to happen. And that's why we get 80 plus people right now on this live stream, because this actually was just another live stream. And people really did not, it was really not expected that this live stream would become as big as it is now, because these live streams are not as popular as you think. Because if you look at the other live streams, we got a couple of newcomers. They also really try hard to build a following, but the thing is, some people go there and they don't really want to listen to it because it's just fucking boring. The numbers here have they have a meaning because people come here, even they don't like the guys on the panel here. They come here because they want to listen to what we got to say, because these are the topics of next week. If you hear it on Riff Raff Radio, you will hear these topics on next week. Sometimes they won't really mention our names. They will use certain codes. They will say, okay, these other guys, or these other guys are bitter and so on, but they actually refer to us. Let's not kid ourselves here. That's what we did, and we achieved that, and I'm very, very proud of that, because if you figured out what kind of personalities they are, when you know something about them, then it's very easy to throw out the bait, and most of them, they take it. It's always a question of time. I know some of them don't mention us. Some of them are working in the background. Some of them exchange information in the background about us. But this is going on. Let's not be naive for something like that, because we are and probably always be the #1 live stream talk show in this community. And if you guys, the competition, and you know who you are, if you really think you can get the crown and push us from the top, then you need to try a lot harder. You need to try a lot harder.
Aloe, let me sum that up for you. What is really going on here is we here at Riff Raff Radio, we make and serve up shit sandwiches, and these shows eat it, and they go num 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 num. That's good, and we get even more and more popular. just kind of really, spice it up there for you, Aloe. And they enjoy it. They eat shit sandwiches all day. They don't know jack shit. I mean, there are some of these shows I turn it on in about 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I just start hearing blah, 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 blah. And there's other shows I turn on and I can just feel my IQ dropping. So I have to turn it off immediately. Okay. And eat some health food so my brain doesn't fucking deteriorate. And just, you're not going to stop this show. This show is just going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger. And, I want to thank the e-baggers. I want to thank the scammers, you refugees out there with no expired visas and expat community. I want to thank you. And to all my haters, I say bravo and guarantee you much more is coming.
This is usually the part where somebody starts to sing Amazing Grace. What happened to the guy over in Thailand? Did you hear anything from him? He seems to be quiet for now.
Yeah, I heard he started up a sympathy video, how 9 years or 7 years of his life were wasted on chemical dependency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, this is what I'm trying to teach all these guys in the chat. This is the setup. Here you go. And by the time he gets into the end of the video telling about his trials and tribulations, you see mist in his eyes, a little tear, and oh my God. And now just wait for the next video. All right. Just wait for it. It'll be please. I need to do this. And he will indirectly ask you for money. Okay. So it's coming, man. It's coming. All right. And I had a little talk with Twitchy and I told him, look, dude, you need to keep on this guy. Twitchy said, he's small potatoes, Popeye. I said, well, don't let it fester. Don't let it grow, man. And that's what I'm all about. I have a policy. It's called the broken windows policy. You break a window, that's it. You're going to get the maximum punishment out of me. Okay? And when you stop it at that level, it doesn't get to the level of these other scammers or refugees in the Philippines. You see my point there, Aloe?
Yes, I do.
But I predict the person you're discussing at the moment will return to the Philippines.
Oh, for sure. Unquestionably.
Really?
Absolutely.
What makes you guys come to that conclusion? Please share to us.
Well,
when he got
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to quickly say. I mean, what he did and got away with, just to sum it up, in the 8 months he was in the Philippines, he's not going to be able to duplicate that in Thailand, Cambodia, any Asian countries. So that's going to frustrate him. So he's going to swing back to the Philippines.
Why is that? Why you can't do that in other countries? Tell us why you come to that conclusion.
Well, let's say take Thailand, for instance. The people there aren't going to put up with his bullshit. The women there are all about business minded, all about money. If you don't put up the cash, they ain't going to tolerate you. Where Filipinos are not that way.
The good faith. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not to mention the fact that they might chop your pee-pee off in other countries if you play fuck with their women. Here they might do it too, but the chances are a lot less likely than they are, say, Thailand, mainly Cambodia, Vietnam, and places like that. What we ought to do is suggest that he go out and hang out with Jippy out of Outer Mongolia.
Maybe they should visit that bar or grill in Kamala Beach together with Twitchy, you know, like meeting up. Twitchy meets up with Dumore, goes to Kamala, and starts a bar brawl. That would be something, like live stream.
That would be friggin' awesome.
Oh, Travis Kraft is deleting our promotions on his channel. What a dick, man. Can't stand that guy.
Yeah, but he's just he's
Maybe-
another loser.
Maybe Dumore can meet up with what's that guy, the toilet brush head guy, and he
Son-
could
Get your
sucker
toilet
he
brush.
could sucker punch him.
Let's go play the knockout game with the toilet brush, man. That's a good idea. He only calls out old men. What are you talking about? He doesn't only call out old men.
Who?
He's saying the guy's saying Twitchy's a coward. He only calls out old men. Who is Rasputin's wallpaper? I'm not familiar with that one.
Rasputin's wallpaper is a guy who has commented on
Wallpaper.
episode 5 or 6. He made a couple of comments there, and I believe he was basically saying the reason why we attack the boatmen is because we are bitter and jealous.
Oh. Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong there, Rasputin. And by the way, if you want to come on the show and tell us a little bit something about yourself, you're always welcome to do so. I would be curious because, you know, he made some, I don't agree what he says, but he is very
Opinionated?
convinced about his view. And I like people like that.
Hey, guys, get in there and harass the shit out of the Travis Kraft show until they kick all of you. Because let's face it, you're not going there to hang out with him and Immabel anyway. You come here.
You know, what kind of guy is Travis Kraft anyway? You know, I just know that he played a role in a soap opera or something, Superman, and he one time had an encounter with Video Freedom. He reacted to it, and that's about it. I don't really know much about him. It's not the type of vlogger I would like to watch anyway.
He's pretty boring. Jealous of Travis. Nobody's jealous of Travis at all. We're just using him to draw in people. That's all.
Yeah, Travis Kraft is the right guy to do so. Oh shit!
Fucking Travis Kraft is nothing but fucking Ned Flanders on steroids, dude.
You're right, neighbor.
Rasputin, you said you made some relevant points, and I would like to, if it's not too much for you, write down here what is the main point you, quote unquote, accuse us of. You know, where is your main problem with the crew here? You know, because I remember that you mentioned a few things, and that would be interesting because, as far as I remember, it's the jealousy point and it's the so-called anonymity point. Because I asked one of the guys on these other channels who was not too happy with you, John and Popeye. I asked him, why don't you just come on the live stream one time on the Riff Raff Radio? You know where we are. You know when we are live. And he said, yes, I will come on the show, but only if John Doe shows his face. And I told him, you know, that's not gonna happen. Besides of that, you might ask yourself, why is it so important for them to know how we?
I can tell you why it's so important. I can tell you why it's so important. These scammers, what they will do is they will try to get a hold of all your personal information and use it against you.
There's actually no other intention, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe Rasputin's wallpaper, Walloper, whatever the fuck you are. I've seen his comments. You're just jealous. It's none of your business. People give willingly. You're just flying the flag of these e-baggers. You're an enabler, man. That's all
Okay.
you are.
Here we go. That's his main point here. I want to read it out loud because that's actually a really good point we could discuss about this. You guys, and that's what Rasputin is telling us right now, you guys, referring to us on the panel, you guys are forever going on about e-bakers. What you don't seem to appreciate is that these guys produce a free product and people who contribute do so because they like it. Now, I want to tell to Rasputin, this is what I mentioned on this show and on the other show. I mentioned that a couple of times. There is nothing wrong when you support a vlogger as a sub. There is nothing wrong having a PayPal account and a Patreon account. There's absolutely no problem with that. But what I pointed out is there is a fine line between supporting or ask for support and e-beggars and scammers. Because as you might admit, begging is not something that is positive, right? I mean, you admit that, right? And we are not just only talking about these kind of things, but it is a big topic in the community. It's a topic that catches people's attention, and they are interested in that. The reason why you, Rasputin, are commenting on our channel is because you're interested in what we put out there, number one. And the second reason is you are here right now. And I tell you, there is a reason for that. Because if you really believe that we are just all about e-beggars or bashing e-beggars, you would find that very boring because that's something that you mentioned 3 or 4 weeks ago, and you are here again. So let me ask you, don't you think that misleading your subs, asking money from them, and giving them a wrong reason is something that we should talk about? Because you said that they are giving out the free product. We are also giving out the free product, and that is the live stream itself, if you want to look at it like that. Because I believe you think that all these vlogs and all these live streams that the subs can or should somehow contribute to it, that this is not for free. I believe live streams and blogs, first and foremost, are a free product, like the air you breathe. I don't think that they should expect something in exchange for it. If somebody wants to give, fine. If somebody is a fan and wants to support, absolutely no problem. But on the other hand, you criticize us for talking about them, and you say, and you accused us and said, you should not intervene or not get yourself involved in these kind of things because what, let's say, Chixie does is none of your business. Then I ask you, what is it to you when we on another channel, on this channel, talk about what is going on over there? Because we just share our opinion on a social media platform. I think that is what this is all about at the end of the day. I hope you can agree to that. Please let me know what you think about that, Rasputin. And I would like to ask you guys, what do you think about what I just said? John Doe.
Well, if these e-beggars and scammers put what they do in the public domain, then it's no one can say it's not your business or the other guy's business. Uh, they're making it everybody's business, and I think the Riff Raff Radio Show does a public service because
Wow, that goes, yeah.
because you point out the scammers and e-beggars and the SSI fraudsters. I mean, we're doing a general public service. We're even doing a YouTube a service to try to weed out these scammers. I'm sure YouTube doesn't want these scammers and these fairies, on their channels.
What do you think about that, Dave?
Sorry, I had my mouth full of food. I concur
Okay,
100. I concur 100% with what he's saying, but I would also like to point out that somebody just said, I think RPW, 39 people watching on Travis Craft's channel and 25 are from here. Oops. Man, we are badass. We're beating out Travis Craft's live stream. Travis Craft, a very popular YouTuber.
He's one of
Just
these
without
girly
prejudice.
vloggers, you know. I call them
Yeah.
girly vloggers. So, you know, where all the girls think he is cute because they never really get to be with a real guy. But Popeye, your take on it.
Yeah, I agree with John Doe. I agree with Dave, and I w- I have to add, I believe Rasmussen Wallenberg is a flag waver for the e-beggars, and he supports the e-beggars. He supports the fraudsters and the scammers, and that's why he comes up with the jealousy stick and the it's none of your business kind of shit. Maybe he's getting a little payola on the side to do this. I have no idea. It's just a thought, And I would have to. I would just tell him you need to change your moniker to enabler, okay? Because that's what you are. When you come here
Maybe he
and
gets nudies from Trixie. Maybe.
oh, well, yeah, that might happen. I don't know. But it's just a swag, a scientific wild ass guess. And yeah, just change your moniker to enabler or douchebag or I'm on the wrong side. You'll have a great moniker then, and we could just pinpoint you.
I would like to read out a very important comment, and I could not agree more to that. 100% agree with it. And this is from Says and the City, and he says he personally doesn't like to see able-bodied men refusing to work a real job. What's the long-term plan for these guys? They have no future at all, right? And that's exactly what I am trying to point out here. I think there is a group of people, at least, out there who don't like what these people are doing. And what you usually hear as a reaction is, so don't watch their vlogs. Don't go there if you don't like it. But the problem here is that you could turn that around and say, what is it to you if we discuss this? If we don't like what they are doing? That's a personal opinion. And I have every right to express that personal opinion of mine and to share it with the guys here in the live chat and with the guys here on the panel, that I say I'm not okay when people use the internet for their scams. When people go on a social media platform such as YouTube and they tell the people, hey, look, I had a heart attack. Please send me money. I need money. Somebody broke into my house. And it's not true. I have a problem with people who say, look, my money, my pension, SSI or SSDI didn't arrive. Please help me out. I need a ticket. I need help. And they do it over in the Philippines using the people there. So we all somehow are in this, because in your case, it gives you guys a bad name. And other people might believe, hey, people in the Philippines should know about certain groups of foreigners who mooch off of the people there and misrepresent themselves and tell them lies. Because again, and as an example, it is thanks to this community and thanks to the good work of certain people, and these are many people in the background who worked hard to make sure that Peter would have a hard time stealing and scamming in the Philippines and in other places. He misrepresented himself as a pastor, as a minister, as a photographer. He lied to people, and that was his way of living. He didn't pay for internet fees and so on and so forth, up until the people itself there in the Philippines said, hey, this is a certain guy who is hopping from one internet cafe, from one motel to another, from one hotel to another, and he's not paying his bills. He is not paying for the products and services he avails of. And that is a very important part of what others, including Quentong Baliw and other live streams, and also the guys in the background, did. And they did the same. They did the same with other vloggers. And I think I want to be honest, for some people, they find that it is a very important part of what we do here. For me, it is more about spreading the word and spreading the information that there are certain individuals out there who take advantage of the community. And I believe we have every right to talk about this, to discuss it, and if you want to use that term, attack these people, because in my opinion, I am not here to be the good guy or something like that, because in my opinion, I think they absolutely deserve it. Even worse than that.
You know, I got a question for Rasputin. Would you be proud of your son or daughter if they were on a cam collecting a live chat feed and saying hi boys and doing sexually suggestive shit? And on top of it, the only source of income that they have is from the donations, sponsorship, and live chat. Come on, man. Would you be proud of that? Think about that for a minute. Okay. I mean, I don't know what you really know about values, ethics, work ethic, or just being a plain old decent fucking human being. I don't know what you know about that. Okay. But you're welcome to come on the live chat here and tell us more. I am so intrigued.
I want to interrupt for just 1 second. Bakehead is over there on track.
Come again? Who is on Travis Kraft's show?
Mr. Bakehead guy.
Okay.
Just to say, MJB.
MJB is calling us losers on Travis Kraft's show, according to Mr. Tux. Is that the case?
That's the guy that needs a diction class. Am I not correct?
That's the guy who talks like I am from Erie. Do you hear me?
Bora?
Bora. Right? I mean, no, come on, guys. I mean, that guy was always a fan of mine, always supported the Out of the Winter radio vlog, always sent me the Hangouts link, and I didn't even know who is this guy. What does he want from me? And he always found us very funny, and up to the time, up to the day where I attacked his big brother. Or one of his brothers. That's how they call each other. The guys from the cotton field crew.
Oh God. Hello.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't. Just because a couple of guys out there think that it's a huge deal. Maybe where they are from, it's a huge deal. Nobody else does give a fuck about things like that.
Oh fuck. This is so I don't see anything Rasputin Jezon, you are a mug. I mean, you see Rasputin, I talked earlier about how people are sanitizing channels, but yet you're still here. You see how that works? Are you gonna get a wrench and become part of the sanitizing crew and cry Popeye's making shit up about me? I did say, I don't know if it's true or not, man. I asked you. I'm not making shit up about you. I'm just saying things that might be going on with you, bro. I mean, let us know, okay? You got a voice in the chat. We don't sanitize here, We're not dickheads. Well, we are, but we're not.
Oh, totally, we are.
You need to embrace that, Popeye. You need to embrace being a dickhead.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, I just see some of these guys out there, and especially the startups, man. I mean, if I see a startup scammer and e-beggar, I'm going to jump right on it. I'm going to bring it right out here on Riff Raff Radio because that is going to be part of my broken windows policy. All right. Because just not going to let it get out of hand. And you know what? When you talk about, I'll back up a little bit. When you talk about who are you to talk about that, I tell you, I'm sitting on American soil. I have the right to freedom of speech. I'm exercising it right now. I have the right to liberty and the pursuit of fucking happiness. Okay?
That's what it says in your constitution, right? I have heard
That's
it.
correct. That's
like that.
correct.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
So you can all fuck off. Okay?
I think it says that too. I think that's what Doc intended it to say, and the fathers were like, no, that's a little too strong. Let's scratch that out.
Yeah. I mean, really. And I don't know where you're from. I don't know how you make your money. I don't know how you eat. Anything about you. All I know is you are Rasputin Walloper. That's all I know about you. Right? And I'm not going to ask you to show your face or pull down your drawers and show me your ass a little bit, something like that. That's a fucking Ferry move. But I will say, you could be anybody. You could be fucking Ren Zero. You could be fucking Bolo Head for all I know. I mean,
I don't think so.
yeah, I mean, but you know, we'll keep reading what you're saying. We'll get the syntax and we'll match it up to who it may not be. Or you could be really Rasputin Walloper, man. We don't know just yet. We'll just keep reading your shit and we'll see if you give yourself away, man. But don't show your ass too much because I will fuck it. All right.
That should be the motto of the show. Don't show your ass too much, or we'll fuck it.
There you go.
I wonder if Rasputin gets a Woody when he watches Trixie on a live stream. I wonder if he gets a Woody.
Well, ask him, man. Do you pop wood, Rasputin, when you watch Trixie?
Yeah. And then his wallet opens up.
You hear that Velcro?
Rasputin in many ways somehow reminds me of Lost the Nomad. You know, it's this kind of, I'm making a point here, I'm neutral, you know, both sides say this and that, and I'm somewhere in between. I have an opinion, but you know, when you ask how do you come to that conclusion, why do you think we are just jealous? Because that's not something that you are serious about, right? Because as of now, you must have realized that there are more or less there are two camps. You know, there's the Riff Raff crew and the affiliated channels or allied channels, and then there is the other channels. I would say like 3 or 4 other channels, and very critical of this panel here, and they are trying to somehow, you know, it's repetitious. You know, they always say, you know, they are losers, they are bitter, they are not happy, and they are they call us the hate crew or the circle of hate. And you know, whatever you think about that, I'm still wondering why or what it is that they think we are jealous of, because I have never really gotten an answer to that. Because I'm really looking hard at it and try to figure out what is it really. Because if some of them would be vlogging from beautiful hotels or traveling around the world, or they would have a nice car, or you know, something that they could, you know, present as an item or as an activity that we could be jealous of, then I would still somehow understand that. But I have not really seen that yet. And what it points to is the fact that they might think that because certain individuals on the panel here have not been in the Philippines for a long time, and they are over there, I think that's what they are trying to point out. I'm not sure if I am right about that or wrong, but I think it's the fact alone that they are in a country where others aren't. That's what I hear, because I have heard some people say that about Roberto Dunn, He was told that he is just jealous because he is promoting a certain dream, but he can't do it. And I was really confused about that, because in the case of Roberto, he's a successful guy, married, family, house, cars, has his own boat, travels the world. He has cash. He has a good job. His wife too. And in your case, talking about John, talking about you, Popeye. Uh, in your case, it's also, I don't know too much about you, John, but I know that you, Popeye, you're also a guy who lives a comfortable life. And I'm not making this up because I want to support you in some way. It's just really that what is going on. I don't see any moocher on the panel here. I don't see anyone who is making up lies to get by and ask for money, or misrepresents himself, or is a disability fraudster, or is not eating regularly. That's just what
Yeah.
it is. And I want to ask you guys in the chat right now, do you really think that we are on the same level as these other guys? Because please remind me if we are, because I must honestly tell you, even you have never seen us, some of us like me or John or Popeye. I just really want to tell you, it is, if you think that we are hungry, or we are mooching, or we have no business, or had or a source of income, then you must really make that up, because that's not true. It's really not true. Everybody of us owns property, I believe,
Well,
in
you know what they say
or
about me, Aloe?
yeah.
They say, yeah, he's just a guy that's got to save up. Okay? And what I have to say to that is, mm, no, I don't have to save up. I've been there, I've done that, got the fucking T-shirt, and you know, that saving up shit is a lame fucking excuse. But any dream I have ever achieved in my life, in my adult life while I was working, guess what? I paid for it, not others. Okay?
You know, let's talk about this, because that's very interesting. Because when it comes to Popeye, they always say Popeye is a guy who has not been in the Philippines for a certain amount of years. I believe it was the last time you have been in the Philippines is probably when they closed down Subic Bay. That was, I guess, in the early 90s, 91, I think, just after the Mount Pinatubo erupted. And I wanna I wanna ask the other side, and this is an invitation to a serious uh, discussion or debate or whatever you want to call it. When a guy like Popeye has not been in the Philippines for over 2 decades, what are you trying to say? Is it, then I speculate, is it that you think that his opinion is less valuable than yours because you guys have been in the Philippines like what, February or March for a month or two? Because let me remind you, the thing is, Popeye has been longer in the Philippines and has been dealing with people from the Philippines a lot longer, probably during the time when you guys who attack him have not even been born yet, or that some of you might have been in high school or didn't even hear from the Philippines. You get a very good insight about what the Philippines is all about when you live there and when you interact, in his case, in Popeye's case, as a liaison in Subic Bay. So I'm trying to figure out, what is it that you, who always accuse him that Popeye has not been in the Philippines for over 2 decades. What is it really what you are trying to say? That his opinion doesn't count, that it doesn't matter, that he can't afford to go to the Philippines? Because this is a guy who has raised his daughter, has a car, has a career, served his country, has done so many other things. And I'm not here to try to kiss his ass or something like that, because Popeye and I didn't see eye to eye for a very long time. I'm just stating the facts. I want to know from you guys, what is he possibly jealous of? Just because you, the guys who attack him, are over in the Philippines? Is it that? Because let me ask you this. What do you really know about the Philippines? And on the other side, we got John Doe here, who has also been attacked as being a racist or talking shit about all these things. Let me tell you this. I don't
No,
agree
he's
with
not a
many.
racist. He's a misogynist.
misogynist, whatever you want to call it. He has been accused of all kinds of things. But I want to ask you, the other guys, why is it
Thank
that
you for clearing that up, Popeye.
why is
You're
it that
welcome.
you accuse John Doe of certain things? Because this is what I can tell you. I was listening to his live stream earlier with Popeye. I think yesterday it was. And I must tell you, there is a lot of things that I talked with him on Discord about that. There's a lot of things that I do not really agree with what he says, but he was able to explain to me where he is coming from. But let me tell you this, and I tell you what I honestly believe. When you listen to what he says, based on his experience of going to the Philippines for many times, you know that this is a guy who has been in the Philippines many times and he knows what he is talking about. Because as a white American guy, you cannot come to the conclusions and views he has if you have not dealt with the people in the Philippines, or if you have not been in relationships with Filipinas. And that's why he comes to these conclusions. I do not agree with many things he says, but you know that he knows what he is talking about. He knows what he is talking about. And you can only get to that level based on experience. That's the main reason I believe why John Doe is a guy who doesn't like people like the Ferry, because they come on YouTube, they tell their stories, they think they have an in-house expert because they are married to a Filipina. They just soak everything up, all the infos out there through Google, through YouTube. They read an ebook and then they get on a live stream and then they talk about the Philippines. And real experts, and yes, I put it out there, in my view, John is a real expert on the Philippines, at least based on his own experience. I believe he is a guy who knows exactly what he is talking about. And same is actually also true for the other guys here on the panel. Popeye, based because he has been married to a Filipina. His daughters are Filipino Americans. And the same is true with Dave, who has been living in the Philippines, who is a guy who asks, who is curious about his environment. He studies these things. He is a guy who travels around. He has been growing up with Filipino Americans in California. And I ask myself, what are you guys trying to say about them and us here on the panel? That we don't know what we are talking about, that we lack the experience, the knowledge when we talk about the Philippines or doing these live streams? Or are you just jealous? Is it you who is jealous of us? Maybe it's the other way around. What is it that you really accuse us of? Because if you look at these guys here, again, nobody is a moocher. Nobody has any problems that prevents them from traveling or going around. And it is so obvious that the losers are not to be found here, not on this channel. The losers are the other guys, because they know the truth about themselves. They know that they ask for money for their load. Not only once, that's not a big deal. If Dave would ask somebody, hey, can you load me? Can you send me some load? It's an emergency. I'm somewhere here out in the mall. The car died down. Everybody would send him money. At least the good guys would send him money. That is not e-begging. But if you do that every month, every week, and you just try one time here, one time there, you try it again and again, then you ask for money because you are leaving your girlfriend, then there are debts, rumors that you don't pay for your visa fee, you can't go back to the US, you have no fucking teeth, you live in a fucking shack, you live on a beach, then the only vlogs that you put out is with hookers and you are drunk, and then after a year or two you go back to your mama and papa in Oz. Then there are other guys who have a criminal record, other guys who have declared bankruptcy, other guys who don't marry their girlfriend but made them pregnant and then they leave them. If you really want to know how losers sound like and how they look like and what topics they talk about, this is not the right place for you to come to. This is a channel where there are decent people, hardworking people who had a career of all types of different backgrounds, and they come from different countries, and they have had different careers. This is right here, because that's the only thing that I really wonder about. Leave alone all the other issues and topics, I don't really care. But one thing that is very important, don't you really realize that? Don't you see that the scammers, beggars, and losers are not to be found on this panel here? Because I realize that you guys out there who attack us. You don't like us. You don't like us because we call you out for your bullshit. You don't like us because we talk about your scams. You don't like us because we make fun of the way how you treat other people. You are users. You abuse people. You abuse their friendliness, and you take advantage of them. And there is not a single guy here on this panel who has ever done that on any of these live streams. Nobody here has ever asked for money because they can't afford to pay their rent and so on and so forth. If you really still want to stick to the loser crew, continue to do so. But we definitely are not jealous of anyone. And if you really seriously believe that we are jealous, then please explain us. Jealous about what? I have heard guys who said, look, he runs a business. What kind of fucking business do you run? I have a career. I was a great guy back in the US, back in Europe. So then tell us. Tell us more about that, because we don't even know about that. You always accuse us of being jealous. Nobody here is jealous of nothing. That's at least how I feel. Now back to you, guys.
I have a challenge for these e-beggars and these supporters and enablers of these e-beggars. Once in a while, I make an appearance on the Bubba and the Filipina show. Okay. And I made an appearance on that show last week. And I got to chat with both Filipinas on that show who are doctors, okay, of dentistry. And I started speaking conversational Tagalog to them. And they're like, oh, Papa, ang galing ang Tagalog naman ang talaga. Now, you guys who have been in the Philippines for a couple of years with your hand out and waiting for your SSI check or SSDI check, let me see you do something like that. That's really getting into Philippine culture. And they actually thought I was pretty relevant and up to date on what's going on in the Philippines. And Jesus H. Christ, I didn't have to fucking Google it either, like the Ferry. Okay? You know? So there's your challenge, e-beggars, refugees, SSDI boys, SSI boys, dentally challenged, enablers. Let me see you do what I do.
Dave, your take.
I'm sorry, I was taking a piss, man. I thought I could get away with that for once. Jesus. My take on what? My bladder was about to explode, man. My take on what? On the whole experience thing? Are we still talking about that?
Your take on why people often always accuse us of other motives of being jealous, motives of being bitter about something, because that's the tune that I get over there, on these channels. It's always about jealousy. And I just told our audience here, nobody here has a reason to be jealous. Everybody has a good place where they, everybody has property. If it's in the US, Philippines, or somewhere else, everybody makes good money. Obviously, it's not the finances, it's not the lifestyle. And I asked our audience, what do they try to point out when they say Popeye has not been in the Philippines for 25 years? What does that mean? Does that mean his opinion doesn't count? Does it not matter? Because the guy knows obviously what's going on in the Philippines. And these are things that he knows. I ask myself, what will they do or say when Popeye is over in the Philippines? Will they say, okay, now he did it. Okay, I believe him. I apologize. So what's the point? That's what I try to point out. The accusation of being jealous.
Well, I think we've witnessed this so many times in the past. It's ridiculous. When we started the original Quinton Ballou show, when we started getting popular, we had people attacking us. We had people attacking like Professor X and saying, well, he's never been to the Philippines and all this stuff. The first thing that any of our haters do is they start by trying to discredit us. If they can't discredit us, if people don't buy their bullshit, then they start making things up. They start lying about us. We've seen that happen too. Here's a fact, y'all. Just last week, my wife came to me and she said, "Hun, I want this property, this corner lot in this town." And I said, "What's it for?" And I'm not going to tell you what it's for on the air, but rest assured, she's got the property now, and she's able to develop it, and that's only going to help us dig our roots in here. When we come back later. Yeah, I hear this shit all the time, man. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Popeye this, Aloe this, but they don't go after Aloe. They're all scared of Aloe, but or me. They don't like talking to me. No, it's not a brothel. Sorry. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. If I was going to open a brothel, I wouldn't do it out in the provinces. That would be fucking retarded. Now, wouldn't it? I would go to a major city and open it.
Well, you could do it in Rasputin Walber's hometown. He would probably enjoy it, right?
Where's he from? Chiang Mai? I mean, he said he goes to Thailand. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Rasputin goes to Thailand? Did he mention
that's
that?
what he was trying to say. Yeah, that's what he was casually trying to make me believe.
This is really the thing. Is you got the guy, the Choco guy. He actually always talks about traveling. He has it even on his huge tarpaulin when he started to do his shows, and he actually always talks about going to places and stuff like that. But the only place that he has been to is Angeles City and probably in Cavite, and that's about it. When you are really a traveler, when you are really a big shot, why don't you go to a place like Cebu, Boracay, Palawan, El Nido, Baguio, La Union, a little bit surfing, here, there. You go on a boat ride, and you never really do things like that. If you claim to be some sort of a world traveler, if you claim that you're very successful, why is it that you always stay in your little condominium in Quezon City, and the only place that you hang out is the swimming pool area of your condominium in Metro Manila? And that's not really what I look as being successful or exciting. At least try harder to convince us.
You have to understand the fan base he's trying to appeal to, and those are people that have never left the United States and or are living in their mother's basement.
So basically, you're saying, John, it doesn't really take a lot to make them believe that he is living the dream.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, if you ever wondered whatever became of me.
if you're living in mom's basement and you got
I'm living in the condo in Quezon City. We live and direct. We live and direct.
I wonder if I could get that belly flop down just right.
Terry, what is wrong with you tonight? Terry, usually he's a completely different person on my channel. Are you drinking toilet duck again, Terry? Are you drinking like toilet cleaner or something? You're always in all caps on the show, yelling at the top of your lungs at everyone. It's like a drunken leprechaun, man. I'll get you.
You should drink
Terry studied Jerry the Fairy, and he said, you know what? I'm not going to make the same mistake Jerry the Fairy made by marrying some old, poor washwoman. So Terry said, I'm going to improve on that. So he married an old washwoman, with a little bit of money. So he at least he made an improvement.
Jesus.
Come on, John.
Since the BAE guy topic came up, this is what I want. This is something I would like to share to you, because Gypsy just said, "Hey, they are living boring ass lives in such an exciting country," and that's exactly what I am trying to point out here. When you are a world traveler, you're a photographer, you're so fucking successful. Why is it that the only place that you go to is you roam around in the Metro Manila area? And he has been in the Philippines like 9 months. And when he does a live stream, it says on the title, it said, buying some grocery in Quezon City, doing a few things in North Etzar. I don't know. And that is what I wonder about, because if he would go to Boracay and at least zip one of these umbrella drinks on the beach, then people might think, hey, yeah, he has a right to at least brag a little bit about it and say, hey, everybody is just jealous of me. But that has never actually happened. And let me just finish this. The thing is, the last time when he came on the show, he accused you, Popeye, and you, Dave. Johnny was also on the show. He said something very interesting. He said, I served in the same military as you guys. And what he meant by that is, why is it that you guys discriminate him? Why is it that you are against him? And then he went over to his channel and he asked his audience, and it was very clear what he insinuated. He said, I'm not going to tell you why they discriminate me, but we all know the answer. We all know the answer. Nico was right what he said, and Nico was talking about the reason why certain people always attack BAE. And I want to tell you, what he was insinuating is because he is black. Now, let me tell you this. The reason why people don't agree with BAE is not because he is black. It's just that he is a loser who happens to be black. And he makes it an excuse to tell us, to make us believe that we attack him based on the skin, based on the color of his skin. That gives him an easy way to camouflage his own shortcomings, to this, to disguise them as racism in the American society or in the wider world. There is a reason, and he admitted to that. Even before he admitted to it, he said one time the reason why he wanted to go to Colombia is because he was Googling, he was doing some research. He was asking himself, how do black people get treated in a country such as Colombia? And it's also not a coincidence why he mentioned Portugal as a European country, because they have a certain history when it comes to black people, because they were the former colonial master of the African country Angola. And black people usually are more accepted in Portuguese society as compared to other European societies. So there is this, the black theme, the black topic. It's a pattern, when it comes to the countries of choice. And one time there was a Filipino American guy on his live stream, and he asked that guy was of mixed ethnic background, half Filipino, half black, and BAE asked him, so how do you get treated by the people in the Philippines? And this is absolutely a big topic for BAE. How do black people get treated? He is obsessed with the topic of being black. And he uses that in two ways. Before, on this show, Riff Raff Radio, I have talked about many times about how he uses being black to censor people by accusing them of racism. And he actually uses racial slurs towards other blacks as well. He defines them as not really black or as Uncle Tom and so on and so forth. And he has used racial slurs also towards people of mixed ethnic background. So what I'm trying to point out here is that he himself never really realized, he never came to that point, that the reason why people attack him is because of his flaws in his character, in the things that he has said and done. It's the way how he treats women in general, and Filipinas in particular. It's the things that he did on live streams, the way how he reacts, and people criticize that. And then he comes to the conclusion that the only reason is not because he has any flaws, that he is talking BS, that he is a cocky, arrogant guy. No, the only reason why people attack him for him is because they think that the black man is less worth than others. That's the accusation of racism. And that is not true. BAE is not a loser because he is black. BAE is a loser who happens to be black. And that is the difference there. That's the only reason why. Because I don't think that any of the guys here on the panel are racist. We have friends of all different backgrounds, and it's ridiculous to accuse us of going after people based on their ethnicity and religious beliefs, or based on their racial background, because that's not true. We have all kinds of people in this community, and I would consider them friends. We actually also get support from people who are African Americans, for instance, or all other different kinds of people who support us. So again, Black American expat is a loser who happens to be black and uses being black as an excuse of him not being successful, not having a good life. He's obviously bitter about something, you know, else he would not always react to our live streams. He would not always try to portray himself as a victim, and he would not always use that I have served in the military. Why is it that you guys also attack me? I am entitled to my pension, just like Dave and Popeye and Johnny Warrior. It's not about the pension. It's not about the military. It's not about the color of your skin. It's the way how you talk. It's the way how you talk about people. That's what I'm trying to point out. It's the way that you how you disrespect people, how you react aggressively, and how you refuse the facts that are out there. You know, that's what I try to that's what I'm trying to point out here.
Yeah, he has two major problems. He has two chips on his shoulder. Okay, the first chip is that the racist chip. Second chip is the military chip. He served 10 years. I asked him straight out on his live stream way back. He served 10 years that he was on disability. Fine. Okay. And that's his second chip because he didn't complete. Okay. And then you look at his other shoulder and you see another chip. You know, he wants to be this big shot world traveler, do vlogs all over the world. Well, let me tell you something. I've been there. I've done that. I did that at 22 years of age. Okay. I stepped aboard the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1980, and I started doing med cruises. I went all over Europe. I have pictures of Alexandria, Egypt, the Sphinx, the pyramids. I have pictures of the Vatican, the Basilica. I've been to Jerusalem. I've walked the path that Christ walked when they hung him on the cross. Okay, I've been there. I've done that. And I'll never forget it. We one of my first ports was really great. Was Monaco. So I got my dress blues, and we went in, and it was my first time ever in a casino. And I got lucky. I walked out of there with close to 2,500 francs. And when we steamed off and got back to Naples, Italy, I went up to the NATO base and I bought a AE1 programmable camera. And I started taking pictures every port we hit. I was actually a world traveler. I've been all over Asia. Right? Hong Kong, fucking Singapore, Japan, Yokosuka, gone into Tokyo, Philippines, Thailand. Right? I've been down to Australia. I got plenty of Australian friends here in the chat right now. I've been to Perth, Sydney, Tasmania. I have pictures of all this, volumes of pictures of all this. And you know what? I will never put them on the fucking internet. No fucking way. Because you cocksuckers out there steal everything. I watch it go on. And those photographs will be handed down to my daughters and so forth and so on. And someday some kid will be saying, look what your great-great-grandfather did way back when. Okay? And that's what a real traveler does. And you know what? I worked for that travel. I earned money for that travel, working 12, 16 hours a day, sometimes going sleepless for 24 hours. Okay? And you fucking cocksuckers out there that live in a goddamn fucking hovel, goddamn warehouse, and your only source of income is what other people provide because they think what gross content that you put out is good. Well, let me give you a wake-up call. The content that you put out is dog shit. Okay? I would not even feed it to my worst fucking enemy. All right? So don't fuck with me. None of you. Don't even fucking think about it. Okay? And I'm not as old as you think. I'm in good shape. I ain't been
He's old,
sitting around.
he's actually older than you think. Just
Yeah. I ain't been sitting around drinking Red Horse and fucking scratching my nuts praying somebody sends me $1 for saying hi, boys. Okay?
And,
I don't sleep on
and being dominated by his girlfriend.
being dominated by some Filipina who looks like a washed out fucking bar girl. All right? That's not my lifestyle, buddy. I don't sleep on the floor. I actually sleep in a nice, really comfortable bed at night at a cool 78 degrees with 40% humidity. Okay? And I hope you're enjoying that little air con that they bought for you, your sponsor, and your new 2-bedroom hovel. I hope you're enjoying that too. And just remember, you didn't earn it, it was given to you. Okay? So you are beholding. And I can clearly say, my whole life, I've never been beholding to anybody. I've earned what I've got.
Are you sure that's 2 bedrooms, Popeye? His place.
That's what they say, And
Yeah, but
they're supposed
there's 8 people living there, though.
they're supposed to give you a tour of it. Like look at our new mansion. Okay, Jesus H fucking Christ. Give me a fucking break. All right, what will these cocksuckers think of next, man?
John, tell me, have you been accused of being jealous or bitter or anything else from the other crew, from the other camp?
Of course, that's always their fallback. Everybody's jealous of them. They're living the life. You're not living the life.
You know you're a jealous little cocksucker, John. You know it. Just tell everybody, man. Tell everybody now. Get it over with. You'll feel better.
I you got to use and I'm not saying this disrespectfully, but the Bolo, you got to use him as a template for most of these expat losers that are living in the Philippines on a wing and a prayer and saying everyone's jealous of them and they're living the dream. I mean, look at what happened to him. Went to the Philippines with very little money. Everybody, if they saw him at the time, they would say, "Oh, look at him. He's living the dream. He's got 2, 3 girlfriends. He doesn't really have to work. Oh, look, he's just doing great." Now he's in his 50s, and look at him now. And that's the faith of all these other guys when they hit their 50s.
Oh,
I have heard
hilarious.
I have heard some of these guys talk about their plans moving to the Philippines, and some of them said something like, "Oh, I am so happy that I will be moving to the Philippines soon. I can't take it anymore here," referring to the United States. It's all shit. They didn't really sound very happy. And when you listen to that, that might be an explanation for the reason why they accuse guys like you, Popeye and John, why you guys must be jealous, because they themselves don't like their lives in the West. And
That's a shame.
they somehow conclude out of that you guys, you would also want to go to the Philippines, but you just can't. And so they speculate and say, hey, that's the reason why you guys attack me.
Even the ferry has said such that I'm afraid to live in the Philippines. I can't live in the Philippines. I mean, if I can survive and own a house in the United States, why wouldn't I be able to survive in the Philippines?
That's a good question, John. And this is just what they do to move you away from what they're actually doing, and it's pretty fucking hilarious. But, it is. These people, they just have no fucking clue. I mean, if I lived in a broom closet in New York City, with a washwoman, I'd be an unhappy motherfucker too. All right, I just I need a little space. Okay.
But for the Ferry, I mean, if the Ferry was heterosexual, which I sincerely doubt, but it would be more miserable in the Philippines for him. He'll have to wake up and looking at that old washwoman every morning, and then go out and about, go to the mall, and see all these girls in their 20s looking to give him attention, and he's with some old bag wearing secondhand clothing.
Well, John, that's what guys do who live in the closet, man. They get fag hags, you know. You know that, John. Okay, those are the guys that should just go to Thailand. Okay, y'all know what's in Thailand, what they can find there that will make them very happy and make them look normal. Okay.
Dick Hammer wrote a very interesting comment, and I want to read it out loud. Change in location doesn't automatically solve all problems. Wherever you go, there you are, and I think that's very, very true. I think that's a very important statement there.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. If you're going to dump into Philippines and you're in that frame of mind where you're thinking America is shit, and then go to Philippines and think it's going to be better, you better think again, okay? Definitely better think again. It's not going to fucking happen. I mean, because I can guarantee you will find things in Philippines that are not to your liking, all right?
When Jerry the Ferry goes to the Philippines permanently, some people you would say that they bring their old baggage with them, as a part of what Dick Hammer is saying. I mean, that for Jerry the Ferry, that's time too. His old baggage is for him.
I would like to ask you guys, since the Ferry was mentioned, I would like to ask, what do you think is his main motive to leave the U.S. and go to a country that he barely knows? Because the guy has been in the Philippines like 3 or 4 times, each time around 3 to 5 weeks, I believe. So that brings him to around 4 to 5 months maximum, and he doesn't really know much about life in the Philippines. He has a good idea about it. That's I give him that, but he's a special type of expats. Let's put it that way. What
You know what his main motive is? Let me get
his
right
main
to
motive,
it.
because he actually wants to leave the U.S. and he's not really happy in the U.S.
He can't afford to live in the U.S. For him to retire on the very little bit of money he has, he'll have to do it in the Philippines. Otherwise, he's going to have to work the rest of his life in the United States.
Right.
He
That's a main attractor, 52 pesos to the dollar. And he's going to feel like a fucking big shot. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, guys. You've seen him in his vlog. He steps out of the trike like he's the second coming of Jesus Christ. I mean, and it's so fucking hilarious to watch. All right, really, come on, let's get fucking real here. All right, and it's that guy who's self-grandizing, self-important. I mean, and you've seen his vlogs where the washwoman sticks her mug in the face and tell him how handsome he is, how smart he is. He needs that massaging 24/7. All right, but he's gonna find some Filipinos are just gonna laugh at him.
Because when it comes to the ferry, the question is he going to the Philippines or is he fleeing the US? And fleeing here doesn't mean because he wants to avoid criminal prosecution or something like this. No, absolutely not. What I'm trying to say is, because when you listen to what he says, he is unhappy in the US. He says there are a lot of problems in the US. Certain parts of the US look like a third world country. That's what I remember he said.
Like Chicago.
You won't be able to find a real jobs in the US. I saw on his blogs of his wife that she is going to secondhand shops where she buys stuff there. The thing there is he leaving the US or is he going to the Philippines? And what's the motivation? You know, because
he's fleeing, Aloe, because look, the city he lives in, Chicago. I said New York earlier. I was mistaken. But New York, Chicago, same fucking thing. It's full of soy boys and, guys that wear man buns and shit like that and wear manties. And these people in these cities are really fucking butthurt, Aloe, because things are changing in the U.S. We're coming back to normalcy. We're coming back to common sense. And when you live in a city where 700 to 1,400 people get gunned down a year, and you have the most strictest gun laws out of anywhere in the United States, and that's still happening because you will not recognize the gang problem, you're definitely fleeing. And he thinks he's going to be safe in Philippines, okay? And it's going to take is when he puts that persona on to Filipinas, what they call it mayate, okay? It's like being braggadocious. It's like really embellishing. And when he puts that persona onto some of these Filipinos over there,
what did you say?
They're gonna knock him for a fucking loot.
What is the Tagalog word that you used?
I may be saying it wrong.
You mean maarte?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for the
okay,
yeah. I mean, and Jesus Christ, I have forgotten more Tagalog than these motherfuckers will ever learn. Okay, that's how inept they are. Okay, that's how inept they are, and they don't even really take the time to get into the culture. If you want to really learn the culture, you gotta learn the language. At least learn Tagalog. It's one of the main dialects. Okay, if you want to be a blogger and you want to put shit out and say you're an expert instead of going to fucking Google chat and saying this is what I've read, I could go to Google chat on my own. And this motherfucker is fleeing Chicago because he knows sooner or later he may walk on the street and get a cap in his ass. And it won't be intentional. He'll just get caught up in one of the drive-bys that happens there. I suggest to anybody, do not live in Chicago. Jesus H. Christ. It's fucking become murder capital of the world, for Christ's sake, because of the gangs. And they will not recognize it because all the liberal politicians and their sanctuary cities and harboring these fucking illegal aliens. Okay, illegal. I have nothing against anybody immigrating to the United States as long as they do it legally. Okay? Give us our tired, give us your hungry, give us our poor. Fine.
What the fuck is this, Rush Limbaugh? The hell happened to the show?
But I'm just explaining this soy boy who wears manties, that's all, and where he's coming from and how much trouble he's actually going to have in Philippines.
What is it all about? And I think Bobsy is now in the live chat. I mentioned him earlier. Please go to his channel, check it out, subscribe. He has a couple of good vlogs about BAE and also about Bama. Hilarious vlogs. Shout out to Bobsy. He's in the live chat, and I want to read his two statements. And that's actually, at the end of the day, it's probably everything you need to know about the ferry, and it's all what it comes down to. It's everything what it comes down to, and that's it. Here, Bobsy says it's easy to play the big man in the Philippines, and I believe that's exactly what it is all about when it comes to the ferry, because he often says he has more money than 80 or 90% of the people in the Philippines. He mentioned that one time, and what it means, what he's trying to say there is he'll be all right. He will be fine. And he is true about that, because he has the financial means to support himself and his wife. But it won't be the life that he might have expected. And what he expects is traveling around, not only in the Philippines, but also going to different Southeast Asian countries, probably even to France, probably even to his home country of Armenia, where he actually has never been. Which is also very interesting, if you ask me. But anyway, so when you look at this, it's exactly what Bobsy here said. It's easy to play the big man, and I mentioned that over on Discord and then also on other platforms. I have spoken to his wife a couple of times on Facebook, and it seems to me, I'm not saying something bad here, but it seems to me, if you also have seen his last shows and live streams, it seems to me that his wife is very submissive, very, um, she's the type of woman who always tells him, "What a good-looking guy you are, Jerry. You are very friendly. You are so intelligent. You know a lot of things." And there is a reason why he ended up with that kind of women who has this kind of personality. And there's also a reason why he often ends up with a certain group of people here on the live streams and on YouTube, because he does not really like it when there is somebody who points out certain contradictions about what he says and does. And John Doe is such a person, and that's the reason why he is all over the place, and by Jerry is all over the place, blocking people and supporting all these people, the other live streamers, with money. He sends them cash, and the reason why he does that, it buys him influence over on these channels. And when I say influence, it's easy for him to mock that, to ridicule it, and to make fun of it. But it's the truth. It's the truth. I have listened earlier to Nico's live stream, and Nico mentioned on his stream that he was talking to Jerry around a week ago, and Jerry gave him some advice. So I knew Jerry talks to all kinds of live streamers, and I believe he is talking about the Riff Raff Radio Crew, and he has his very own unique agenda when it comes to
Of
all of
course
this.
he is. He's going around telling everybody, "Let me help you sanitize your channel."
Let me help you do this, and let me help you do that. And it's not very Riff Raff Radio friendly. Let's not forget, he is the guy who shut down the channel a couple of hours before we went live. And I think he is still very happy about it, because he thinks Aloe is very bitter about it. He is laughing, ha 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 ha. And that was really a nice move, Jerry. But you just made yourself look like a fool out there, and you are just a tryhard. That's what people need to know. And I don't think that he has a future in this. He thinks that he is some sort of a second Rike. Personally, I don't really like what Rike is putting out, but he thinks that his channel will really take off once he goes over to the Philippines. He thinks that going to the Philippines, in itself, is the non plus ultra of a successful life, and I think he's absolutely wrong about that. He makes comments about all kinds of vloggers in the background, and I speak based on my very own experience, because I know that he has contacted me after every fucking live stream I did and every other live stream that you guys did, and talked all kinds of shit about other people. He never really does. Never really does that on his live stream, because he wants to keep what he says, quote unquote, he wants to keep the drama out, away from his channel. He is scared, or he is very concerned about his image. The thing is, you don't have, the guy doesn't have an image. The guy doesn't have an image, because nobody really listens to him. Nobody really watches his live streams, and he is a very arrogant
All
person.
you got to do, Aloe, is
I
call
know
him
we
a
don't.
used car salesman, and he will spin up, man.
You
He
know,
will
I
spin up.
remember the day when he was on a live stream, and then he was getting a little bit loud. I mean, he raised his voice towards you, Popeye.
Mhm.
He was yelling and said, "You will never make it to the Philippines, Popeye." And that's exactly how he feels. And then he knew in that moment, okay, I lost my temper here. That's weak. I I don't want to show people how mad I am. But the guy is mad or frustrated about a lot of things. That's why he kept begging me over on Discord not to let John Doe to become a member of Discord. Let us not allow him to comment over on Discord, because John Doe is not good, right? He is not. It's not the type of person you want to, over on Discord. And
Yeah, I may
him
not
being.
agree with John Doe, but I'll say what he puts out, a lot of it is true, and I don't agree with it. But hey, dude, he's got his right to voice his opinion, even if
Exactly.
yeah.
And not only that, he's well liked over on Discord too. So I hope that pisses him off too. Oh, by the way, let me show you something really quick for you Bundo lovers out there. This is the email. I don't know if it's going to focus. Oh, there it is, right
Now it
there.
does, yeah.
That's the email that I sent to the Bundo account that wanted me to send him the link. So the link went out. You're a fucking lying motherfucker. Don't ever challenge me again. This was going to be the extravaganza of the year. You were going to set me straight. And guess what? You pussed out.
I scrolled down in the live chat and I saw that Nico made a few comments. I did not see that because I was reading Bobsy's comment, and Nico says, "Alo, I judge only by interaction. I don't judge by word of mouth." And I really appreciate that, Nico. And again, if you have time and if you are willing, let me know. And I would like to have you on the Riff Raff show once, and then we can chit chat a little bit. I think that would be very interesting. Nico, as you guys know, is a guy who has also started his live streaming. And again, I was listening to parts of your last live stream, Nico, and I remember that Ferry showed up, and you mentioned that. That he gave you a little bit of an advice. And I'm not trying to be paranoid here or something like that, but based on my own interaction with him, I do know that he is very opinionated, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing there is he is not really, how should I say, he is not really honest about his intentions. Sometimes he would rather try to support other channels in order to attack us, and he is not doing it himself. And I think that's a little bit lame. That's just my personal opinion about him. And I have a reason why I come to that conclusion, because I still think it was very lame of him to start a channel with me and Roberto Dunn. He was on board. He said he wants to do this, and he did. He obviously did his part. But then when we started to do the promos, and when things started to become serious, he started to have second thoughts. And instead of telling us, "Hey, I can't be part of this crew because I don't like where the channel is headed. I don't like the direction where this channel is going," and we didn't even do a show yet. And discussed with him, and then said, "Okay, you don't want to be part of it anymore. That's disappointing, but you should have told us, because we are putting out the strategy. We're working out the strategy. We are discussing this. We had conference calls and stuff like that." And then he started to worry about his image. And then I said, "Hey, what are you really trying to say here? You don't want to be part of the crew because you think we are turning it into a drama channel," because Roberto Dunn was very excited about it. You guys might remember where Roberto Dunn has put out vlogs where he was at the shooting range and stuff like that. And I found it really funny. I found it very exciting. I found it very good. And that's because that's exactly the type of promos we needed. And when Dave put out his, no, I think it was a promo from a very nice movie. I forgot the name. He put also out the promo where somebody was killed in the promo. And, Jerry started to feel like, "Oh man, this is not really good. I don't want to be associated with guys like that." And he backed out. And that was it. The thing is that as one of the guys who had the password to the channel, he felt entitled that he could delete the channel just before we went online and did our show. And thanks to Dave, we did it on his channel, Quentin Baliu. That's where we started the Riff Raff Radio episodes, and the rest is history. And I must say, I'm very glad that he backed out. I honestly mean that, because else we would not be able to do what we do now, because I believe Jerry is just not the type of person who is made for this kind of live streams. What I mean by that is, he is a boring, self-centered, know-it-all who thinks that he has a future in this live streaming and YouTubing, and I strongly believe it's not the case. Even if you go to the Philippines and vlog from there, you need a little bit more than that, because he has a very boring way of talking about things and presenting things. And I am not talking to you guys as a vlogger, because I know my vlogs are really shit, and my English is
So
also
is your
not
Honda,
that
man.
good.
So is
And I
your
have this
Honda.
I have this weird accent. But at the end of the day, I still believe that there's some sort of entertainment in it, what we guys do here. And that's the reason why you guys have always supported us over on the Ala de Winter show, over on Popeye and Quentin Baliu, and on other channels. And that's the reason why we often have a really good time over on Discord with the guys over on Discord. And that's what really matters. That's what I believe. So at the end of the day, I don't think that Jerry has what it takes to be the guy he wants to be, because you have to be entertaining, you have to be fun, you have to not take things always too seriously. And if you always do this, what I call like backstabbing, then you really have no future in this. And he actually said that he doesn't really want to do it for money, but he also didn't rule it out. That's Jerry's way to say, look, when I get 1,000 subs, that's the time I will monetize it. That's the time I want my channel to get bigger. That's the time I will make money. But he doesn't want to really say it out or loud right now, because he knows he might get attacked for it. And again, I hope that Jerry, the Ferry, won't react to this, because Jerry, I want to remind you, you said it many times, people who don't show their faces, people who are just trolls, obviously are referring to me, John Doe, Popeye, and others. Peoples like that are totally, absolutely irrelevant for you. So please prove to us that you really meant that, and don't really make comments about us, because again, if we are so irrelevant, you would not even talk about us, you would not uh, even mention us, you would just totally ignore us. So please keep it that way, because I do not need any more of your shit. You are boring, you are stupid, and um, you will probably have a rough time when you go over to the Philippines, because people like you, who always think that they know it better, it should be like this and it should be like that. That's not gonna work there, Because one time I discussed with him about rents and buying property, and he said, even if the landlord asks you, you need to deposit 2 months, or you need to pay with post date the check. He said, you should never do that. You should always do it like this and like that. I wish you good luck if you will be able to find people like that in the Philippines who always adjust to your situation. The good thing about the Philippines is it changes people after some time. It changes people, and it it can be a tough place to be when you always believe that people need to adjust to you. It can grind you down, and it's happening with other bloggers as well, because guys like that from the West, they always think, I would just call the customer service and tell them, look, the internet sucks, or the water it's like this and like that, or it's the neighborhood, it's too loud, I call the plumber because there's a karaoke playing 24 hours.
You're
That's not
not
gonna
in
work.
America
You will
anymore.
you will suffer big time, because people there, that's the thing. People there, they just don't give a fuck, It is, you are not that important if your internet sucks or not. They don't feel like fixing it for you just because you think you pay them a few thousand pesos, and that's very frustrating. And you need to, at some point, you need to be very flexible. And people like him, we see other vloggers out there, people like the Ferry, they will really they will really fucking suffer, and I hope they do. people always say, I don't wish bad on anybody, but when it comes to him, I really fucking wish something happens to him, like his plane falls down before he comes to the Philippines, his ferry sinks, or somebody just I know, kidnaps him or something like that. I would love to see the guy in an orange overall captured by some Abu Sayyaf guy, something like that, and it would not mean anything at all to me. But that's just me.
Aloe, you were talking about Nico earlier, starting his live stream and everything. And one thing I got to say to Nico is don't let guys like Jerry the Ferry come to talk to you and manipulate you, because before you know it, it's not going to be your live stream. And the only thing I can tell you, if you're going to start a live stream, Nico, go with your gut instinct. Do what you want to do. Invite who you want to invite. That's the only kind of advice you should be taking from anybody. Right? Don't let these fucking buffoons manipulate you into their bullshit. Do your thing, and you will be a lot more successful. That's the only advice that's the same advice I gave to John Doe. He's doing his thing. He made his thing about Philippine-centric content, man. And there's people out there that hate his ass so fucking bad. If they could get a hold of him, oh my God, it would be a show of shows, okay? Don't let those cocksuckers manipulate you, and do your own thing, bro. Just like John Doe does. He does his own fucking thing. Marches to his own drummer, right? And as for the fag, Ferry, whatever you want to call him, you're definitely right, Aloe. He's going to have a mega hard time in the Philippines. I mean,
and that's only something that you can only say this because it's based on experience. And people say, look, I won't have a hard time because I am smart, or I know how it is, or I read the ebook of Ned, which is also a fucking fool. But anyway, that's just me. So the thing is, he thinks that's what the know-it-all guys do. I mean, we got another guy who was a Kwentong Baliw regular guest on Kwentong Baliw, the professor. He also knew everything. He knew everything, man. He could tell you everything, the history and thing. And then here he goes, 3 days, boom, his furniture is gone, the money is gone, nothing to eat. Probably in a year or two, he will be dead by now. And he is nowhere to be found. People don't talk about him anymore because that's the end of the story for him. He
can actually do a real heart attack video, can he?
Oh.
Yeah, maybe when you talk to him and he's on the live stream and you make him super mad, he might have a heart attack. The cell phone might fall down, and if you are lucky, the angle of the cell phone will really point at him, and then we could watch him die. That's the only way to get those kind of live stream. That's probably the only way.
That's my favorite. When the know-it-all fails.
He's in Tondo right now eating Pog Pog.
Oh, God.
And what I said earlier, by the way, is something that I experienced myself. I want to be very honest about that, because when I growing up in Switzerland is basically like you grow up in a bubble, and Switzerland here refers, symbolically speaking, refers to every other Western country. Everything is perfect. Everything is taken care of. When your internet doesn't work, you can call somebody and you can whine and bitch about it, and you feel that you are in the position of power somehow. Because at the end of the day, you pay this shit. And then when you go over to the Philippines, and I have some experience living in the Philippines, then I realized that you can't just complain, and then it's very, how should I say, it's amazing how many times you need to call somebody to fix your internet, for instance, or if something is not done right, and nobody really cares. They can tell you, okay, I'll come over on Monday, and maybe Monday evening somebody calls you and says, hey, I'll probably come over on Thursday. And in Switzerland, that would not be possible. That person
wouldn't fly, would it?
people like that get fired. And that's the shit that you need to deal with in the Philippines. And it happens again and again and again. And even if they fix the internet, maybe after 3 days, that whole fucking thing breaks down again. And you ask yourself, what is going on here? Is this some sort of a hidden camera show or something like that, where people try to make you freak out in a foreign country?
He's going to
Because
say
that's
John
what's
Doe's
going on.
fucking with his internet.
You know,
And
Al,
it's not only the
tell you,
internet, you know, it's not only the internet. It's when you
yeah,
get an Uber car, when you build a house, when you transact with the bank, when your neighbor is doing this and that. And the thing is, guys like Jerry say, it's not going to happen to me because I will check out first where there's good internet and where there's a good neighborhood, and I will only rent. And then he will say, and I will not pay the full rent. So I'm the clever guy here because after a week or two, I would just move out and go to a new place because the rent is so cheap. He has an answer for every problem. He has an answer for every problem. And these are exactly the guys you can't really reason with them unless they have been to the Philippines and lived there for at least a couple of years. And then they come to the conclusion, because it's a very long process of learning and adjusting. And then they come to the same conclusion as most of us do, based on the real experience and not just because they read
you know
Ned's
what's the
ebook.
funniest thing I have ever seen in the Philippines? When I was stationed there, we had a lot of these pushy Americans, and they'd be talking to the Filipinos, and they say, "Can you do this? Can you do that? And can you get it this time? Can you get it that time?" And the poor Filipino would be sitting there nodding his head and saying, oh," which means yes. And did it ever fucking happen? Fuck no. And then all of a sudden you see this fucking wild ass fucking American ripping his fucking hair off, fucking throwing shit all over the place, pissing on himself, clutching his chest, about ready to have a heart attack. And that's what happens, man. And I've watched it happen over and over. And that's going to be Jerry. I just wish I could be there to blog it. You know, just stick the camera in his face when he goes ballistic, because Joe Pinoy didn't show up on the time he was supposed to show up on. You are truly going to learn the meaning of Filipino time. Okay. And you're going to want to rip the fucking pubic hairs out of your balls just to make sure you're still alive, because it's going to make you so fucking numb, dude.
Jeez.
I wish you all the best of luck. Oh, fuck.
So, I think we hit a natural pause here. So, what do you think? We'll wrap this one up.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Excellent, gentlemen. Let's go with the last thoughts, and let's with our guest, Jonathan Doe.
Yeah, one last word about the ferry. The ferry in he sets a certain foundation when in preparation for what he does on YouTube, and that certain foundation is to justify his miserable life. And it's very hard to counter that when he's vlogging and he has some 50-year-old menopausal washwoman standing next to him. But he tries to justify that because he appeals to guys that have never been to the Philippines, and he tries to explain to them,
He appeals to the
yeah,
fucking Down syndrome crowds.
exactly. So he tries to explain to them, those the younger girls, they're no good, they're scammers, they're this, they're that. You're better off with an oldie, like I have. Women with money are no good. I know a lot of women with money and in the Philippines, and they're horrible. But when you dig down, you find out he doesn't know any younger girls there. He never dated any younger girls. He met one old woman and he married her. But he draws all these other conclusions as though he's been with all these other women, rich women, young women, but he's never been within 100 yards of those people. So he's just full of hot air and just just a total bullshit liar. But
Maybe
he's
he
trying
doesn't.
to, yeah.
Maybe he doesn't. He doesn't want others to destroy his plan, his dream. That's why he's so defensive about everything. There could, I mean, what other reason could there be? Twitchy one time said that there are a lot of guys who come or go to the Philippines or to Thailand, and then they say, when once they are settled in the Philippines, they say, "Oh no, Thailand is shit. I don't want to go there." And some of them do that because they don't want to look elsewhere. They just want to settle down. And when it comes to what I'm trying to say here is when it comes to the Ferry's attitude, it's basically like saying everything I do is based on a reason, and because I want it that way. I want it exactly that way and no other way. And that's what he is trying to say. Because you can't possibly say younger women are bad or women who have money are bad. It's basically just saying what I did is the perfect way, and
No, but Allo, you know what? I will respect him if he said that, if he was with any of those women. But
yeah,
he has not been with any
exactly. And that's where I also have a problem with him, where he claims to know something, but in reality knows nothing, because you can't claim, or the way he carries himself, you can't pretend that you're some sort of an expert. It's just not possible. And just because you are married to a Filipina, and you said it on your live stream earlier, John Doe, just because you are married to a Filipina and you absorb all the things that she says about the Philippines and about the Filipino people, doesn't make it the one truth only, because it's only one out of millions of different opinions. And you can't take one opinion of one Filipino and then build your opinion about the Philippines and its people based on one opinion and a few other opinions as well. It's not gonna work.
And there's also a level of jealousy on his part, which I hate to use that word, but because the opposition uses it. And that is, my girlfriend is at least from an upper middle class family in the Philippines. So even though I've been going there for decades, I've never even ridden in a trike. I mean, there was never any need for that. They have air conditioned vans. The vans are new. They live in a regular house. They have a cook. I don't want for anything over there, and that gets stuck in their craw when you marry an old washwoman. They get offended by what I say.
That's another very important statement there. When you go to the Philippines, the people that surround yourself are often a reflection of who you are in your Western home country. Meaning that when guys like Video Freedom and other lowlifes go to the Philippines and complain, whine, and bitch about the Filipino women, it is because their surrounding is a direct reflection of them. They are lowlifes. Meaning that when you meet only bar girls, it's obvious that you will be taken advantage of. But let's say you're a decent guy. You meet your lady in a bank, or she is some sort of, I don't know, an IT professional, whatever. Chances are quite high that you might end up with a decent woman as well, because again, it's a direct reflection of who you are. But let's say you end up with a guy who lives with his parents, he's 40 plus, had different business ideas, and the only thing he does is like doing vlogs with hookers in his apartment. Then you are not really on the path to success and to a really stable and good relationship. But if that's what you want, okay, but don't judge a country just because low class in the West meets low class in the East, right? That's what I'm trying to say here.
Well, then that's how I judge them. When I'm in a lot of these live streams, or I'm commenting on people's videos, I ask a simple question: how many of these guys here now in the chat are with a girl with an education, a decent job, and from a decent family? How
Mm-hmm.
many? How
Mm-hmm.
many? Raise your
That's,
hand.
yeah,
You won't. Nobody. They're
yeah.
all with the squatter girls with no education. et cetera, et cetera. I mean, or old, desperate old women that are a local guy wouldn't go near her with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, you speak truth there. I would not say that all of them are, but the ones that are criticizing Filipinas the loudest and in a very harsh way, in a very unfair way, they are often the ones who ended up with the wrong types because they looked in the wrong places. I believe Dave did a show about that. I heard him say, don't complain about this when you look in the wrong places. You won't really find a very decent woman when you go to an Angeles bar. It's a secret, but you might agree to that. So you need to go to the places where normal people go, because if you want to meet a nice American woman, believe it or not, I don't think that you will meet her in a Las Vegas strip club or something like that, or spring break, in Florida, Bob. Maybe
or an inner
Yeah.
city, or
Yeah,
an inner
baby.
city ghetto.
or in a ghetto or something like that. And the thing is, honestly, to tell you, when you look at these live streams, or I mean these logs, you often see the type of girls that they claim are their girlfriends. And I must say, wow, where did you even find these girls? And that's a little bit of a problem here. So you are absolutely right when you say
Right, but the
uneducated and
basement
poor.
dwellers are impressed with. They see any girl,
Yeah, when they
anything with
see
a
a girl
heartbeat.
who
Yeah,
has an
they're
interest in them, they're
impressed.
already happy. I mean, because they feel like, hey, there's a female out there who talks to me. Wow, that's very seldom because they probably never talk to females. They don't interact with them. I mean, if you are a guy from, let's say you were from Ohio, you have no teeth, you are overweight, you live in your car. Then you might be impressed when a girl actually says hi to you when you send her a message on Yahoo Messenger or something like that during that time when Terry was still a young, good-looking man, a long time ago, a very long time ago.
I don't even think at birth he was good looking. So
Yeah, that's probably true. And you don't need to wonder that something like this happens when you bring a poor provincial girl to US, and when she starts to feel um, like a star because all the guys want something from her.
right, especially
And
when you look like 5 pounds of bologna in a 1 pound package,
exactly.
and you bring it to like a trailer park.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually this whole MGTOW
Oh my
phenomena.
God.
That's what it's all about. They just made. First of all, I think they don't really understand the whole concept of this new group of people, or I don't know how you want to call that. But you see it everywhere. And there's another idiot. I think he lives somewhere in Cebu. He also made that his theme now. And it's basically like saying, I'm a loser. I can't be in a really good relationship, in a stable relationship. Uh, there is a name for people like that, and it's MGTOW. And I don't think that it really refers to that kind of group of people. A loser still is a loser. In 2018, it's true, just like all the years before.
Aloe, anybody that goes to the Philippines and talks that MGTOW garbage is an unmitigated loser, without a doubt.
Exactly. Yeah,
He's lost.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Lost. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've hit another pausing point. we've gone well over the 2 hour mark now. It says we're going on 3 hours, which is kind of a crock of shit. But let's get in those final thoughts one more time.
We just keep trying until we really.
I know, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Did you get a load of that girl's hooters, man, on that video with those two guys?
Which one?
The one where Bama and Raw Deal were together.
The blue dress, right?
I had the blue
Blue
dress.
dress.
And, yeah.
Were those? You think those are real?
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
can't
Hookers.
afford implants.
Those were
They
hookers.
don't.
They can't afford him. That's true. They can't afford. Well,
Yeah, but the thing is, if you get hookers, why don't you just get a really nice one, from the club somewhere in Cebu, from the disco? Why do you get these beer house chicks? These beer
Alan,
house chicks. I mean,
did
at
you
least
see a
do it
picture of
right.
what what Bummer was with the last time. Did you see that picture? So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in his case, it's an improvement.
Yeah. You know, my last thought here is that, hey, I, I kind of feel sorry for the Ferry. He went to the Philippines with his dustbuster and his,
his
hand
Maytag.
duster. And he got himself a dusty old washwoman. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't think that, really, that's not good, Jerry. I mean, you could have had a nice, young, soft, supple, beautiful woman, and they put up with greasy slime balls like you. They do. It's proven fact. Okay, they do. They put up with greasy slime balls like you. And as for Bama, dude, I mean, I'm telling you, if you want your fucking GoFundMe to work, just smile into the camera and say, please, I need implants. I mean, dude, there will be so many people that give to you, man. That's how
Imagine
you should
What
be
do you mean
doing
by
it.
teeth implants? You're talking about?
imagine him doing it without teeth.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus H. Christ.
Send me some money.
Yeah. And I'm waiting for you to throw that brick at me any day now, please. Anticipation is fucking killing me. But and all you fucking losers in the chat, thanks for coming out. I mean,
Yay.
I hope you enjoyed the corn or the spinach out of my shit that I told you to eat earlier today. I can see the coattail boy is here. Welcome to you too, you fucking idiot.
No. Hang on. Hey, Kevin, don't be a dick to us in your fucking chat anymore, or else I'm going to put you on block again, and you're not going to be able to go, hey, guys, I need you over on my channel right after this one so I can get 72 views. Yay! Okay? So if you're going to be a dickhead again and block us again and then talk about it and then have to take your meds and shit like that, you can forget it. We're not going to help you out anymore. You got it, champ?
Does he have a channel?
It's going to shit, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't know he had a channel, man.
He's got some guy that looks like a tarsier sitting next to him with a really bad accent. He's always upset, going, "I'll say whatever the fuck I want." Yeah, it sounds like the fucking footballer from the Energizer commercial back in the '80s.
Oh my fucking god! Oh, Jesus. But guys, have a good one. It was a great show. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Thank you, John, Allo, Dave. You guys are fucking awesome, man.
There's a guy out there who always said, I got 3 times more subs than all of them together, right?
Oh, yeah.
3 times more subs than all of them together. Why is it that you don't have 3 times more people watching your live streams then? Because in that case, it means you need to have around 200 plus people viewing your live stream. And that's not impossible because there are live streamers out there who do that. If you have 3 times more than we do, why is it that your shows wouldn't get like 3,000 views? I mean, I'm talking about the vlogs that he is putting out. Why is it that you have, and indeed, you have 3 times more people who are sub to your channel, but you don't have 3 times more people who watch your vlogs, not at any given time when you do the live streams, and also not the views itself once you are done with your vlogs. So please explain that to us.
And it's a great question.
It's a great question, and there's no answer to it because I would say to the other camp, just fucking forget about the numbers and the views, because the only reason why I talk about this is because they have used that against us many times and said, again, we won't have any audience to speak of and nobody will watch us, and after 2 months we will be gone. This is now the 5th month. We often have 50, 60, 70 people watching the show at any given time when we are doing the live streams, and the average of every blog, every live stream is around 1,000 views. And that's not too bad for a couple of guys who just come together and talk about boring stuff and e-begging and a bunch of racists. That's pretty impressive in my book. That's all I got to say for now. Thank you very much for coming out, tuning in. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys, and I look forward to the next week. I hope Twitch will be on the panel, and we could talk a little bit more about the Thailand scene. And then let's wait for BAE to start the show right after this one, or maybe tomorrow, where he will attack us. And then I expect a couple of fuckboy threats coming from Cebu, and a couple of other lowlifes who don't think that we are relevant, probably from Chicago, because they will tell us once again that we are just bitter. So, yeah, lots to look forward to.
Okay, guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, John.
Anytime you're welcome on here. We're heavily promoting the John Doe channel, as well as you remember earlier. If somebody could pop that link back in the chat also before we skedaddle out of here, that would be great. What is with Terry McGreevy, man? What are you doing? Do you drink paint thinner at night? Why do you keep going in all caps, man? What the fuck's wrong with you?
He's probably
Dude.
typing. He's typing with his tongue. He's typing with his tongue.
Drunk. He's married to
Maybe he huffs gas and he's seen God. You know,
I don't know, but I was supposed to meet this guy in Davao one time. Now I'm kind of glad I didn't.
He's upset because Jerry's old bag is prettier than his old bag.
Ooh, I'm not going there, man. I'm not going.
But you know, the thing with Terry is he bashes us now, and then he leaves a positive comment. It's like it's a great show, and you know, sometimes I think it's not the same guy, or it is the same guy, but he has some sort of a bipolar personality disorder. Or
Split
something
personality, you mean? Split personality.
Split personality,
yeah.
So there you go. That's the show in a nutshell. You guys had fun. We peaked out at right around 85 or 86 people watching. I expect by next week, if I can actually sneak my computer down here and get the sound stuff going, we're going to top over 100 views by next week. And probably by the end of the month, we're going to be at 1,000. I'm thinking. So sign up for our channel, subscribe to our channel. I know we said initially not to subscribe to our channel, but fucking subscribe to our channel. Show everybody that we are the shiznit in the Philippines. Travis Kraft only had 36 views last time I checked on his live show. So, Big Kevin, unblock us over there, homie. We're doing you a solid right now. Okay?
And please subscribe to the Black American Expat channel, because he is a guy who is an up-and-coming rapper, lives in a condo in Quezon City. Great guy. Want to give him a shout-out as well. Top guy. Very nice vlogs. Thanks.
All right. That's it. We're done. 3, 2,